I don't think that the fact that our team is young is a weakness. It never has been a weakness for any team during that time. So yeah, I think it's more like a strength because we actually kind of see what axis of progression we have to push, and now like it feels really clear for us. So it's definitely not a weakness.
We have one European team in tomorrow's semi-finals looking to be the other one. They are LeStream!
Let's get it up, let's go, let's turn it up. Let's go, let's get it up, let's go, let's turn it up. Let's get it up, let's turn it up.
LeStream Esport!
I got the heart and I'm taking a shot. Grinding, reminding, practice is while it's shining. Light of the squad is just blinding. Watch how we drop all these dimes in.
And their opponents, who they know so well, we all know very well, particularly from the last Pro League finals when we were in Rio de Janeiro. These guys were the runners-up there.
We prepared for the Season 9 finals the same way we always prepared for LANs, but this time we choose to focus a little bit more on ourselves instead of just countering the enemy team and just seeing what they do.
We are very happy with our Season 9, mostly because we had like almost no chance after the first split, after the 6th Invitational. But then Ian got into the team, and after that we make all the way through without losing. So that's kind of pumped up the team a little bit.
You heard it there from cameraman himself, that earlier on at this season, they didn't think they had a chance of being here. They are the #1 seed out of Latin America and the runners-up of the last Pro League finals. They are FaZe Clan!
We ready to flex, we're ready to rock, headed to the top. We got next, can't settle for less. I'ma need your best, so give it all you got. We got next, we ready to flex, we're ready to rock, headed to the top. We got next, can't settle for less.
FaZe Clan!
We got next, we ready to flex, we're ready to rock, headed to the top. We got next, can't settle for less.
Good luck to LeStream Esport, good luck to FaZe Clan. We go for quarterfinal number 3. Back to our analysts, and let's get into the maps as well.
Thank you very much, Matt. Now, every single time we see these team videos, I have to say, I kind of get close to tearing up seeing beautiful Milan behind everybody, because you have the wonderful Galleria, you have Il Duomo as well, and I was up at the top of the cathedral yesterday. It was absolutely beautiful. So this is one thing to highlight. If you ever go to Pro League, minor majors, whatever events for Siege, make sure you visit the cities because the locations are definitely worth it. And you're going to have a lot more fun than just coming here for the event. It's going to add more to your experience, and we really want to make it a global experience for everybody here that actually comes down and makes the effort to travel in and watch and meet everybody here. With that said, it's a bit of a heartfelt thing. I know, I have to be wholesome every now and then. But LeStream versus FaZe Clan. Gentlemen, we saw this in Atlantic City last year. You were there yourself, Alex, and you got to see how close it got and how LeStream, back then Millennium, was able to kind of rock through the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I wanna elaborate a little bit on that, because that was only Hicks and Rise playing on that team back then. So there is a massive change in the roster for LeStream, and they don't resemble old Millennium in any way. There's a history of 2 players competing against FaZe, but there's been swaps on both sides. So I don't know how much of that will actually transfer. Plus, it's been, what, 11 months, I think?
Yeah, it has been a while through it. But one player I really want to highlight on the stream is Alfama. For me, Alfama is this player that has a lot of potential to be this huge entry for the region. Rookie of the Year, as we saw Aces grab that last year. I think Alfama definitely has that potential, and of course, both of them being on the same team. So, who are LeStream bringing? They're bringing literally the most handsome man on this continent, Uno, followed by Hicks, Rise, Alfama, and Maurice himself, Aces, usually carrying Uno on his back, as they say.
That's the thing, this team really formed, as you mentioned Millennium earlier, this isn't quite Millennium, but there are, you know, some resemblance from the Ashes. This team is a lot of incredibly strong fraggers from various other teams. Uno, say, used to play for what's now called Mouse Sports. And, you know, the same story is for Aces as well, from a different team. So we have, like, a lot of different fraggers being brought together, and I think that has culminated in a team that plays very differently to the former what we formerly saw from Millennium. We see a lot of aggression. We see these players really keen to take individual gunfights, and that, I guess, resembles some of the region that their opponents come from.
Yeah, and there we go. It's a roster for FaZe Clan. Cameraman, who actually stole one of our cameras a bit ago and kind of gained control of it. So he was running the whole show. Mav, Ion, Yuna, and Astro. Ion definitely being this newcomer, basically, and really showing up. I mean, he has had a pretty fantastic season up there for such a young player.
And joining a team with the likes of Mav, Camera, and Astro,
these are the OGs.
Yeah, like you're coming into hot territory where people know what they're doing, and trying to catch up with that, there's a lot of work to be put in. But the same goes for Uno and Alpha.
Yep. I mean, that said, Yuna is bloody good and has had incredibly good performances on his previous teams, coming from even Challenger League and then qualifying for, I believe it was Invitational last year on his previous team, which at the time I believe was called Lanchonette. I know this is way back,
They moved to Yag Gaming right after
that's
they got
right.
picked
So,
up.
and now that I believe they're known as Pain, but it's been like a lot of different titles for that team. But what I'm getting at is, look, Yuna wasn't born yesterday and is an incredibly strong player. That my favorite thing about Yuna, watching Yuna play, is that he'll always bring something a little bit different. Such as, like, these days it's a Finka is what we see from him a lot of the time, which
and
I love.
We do have a
love
bearded,
that variety.
Just one thing to highlight, we have a bearded Finka on the desk in Alex. So, you know, you're doing your own cosplay, man. More power to you. You know, work it, girl. That's all pretty darn good. Though, FaZe Clan, they've had a great season. LeStream have had a great season as well, looking at the fact that they had Empire to face in the region, G2, etc. FaZe also had to go through Liquid, Immortals, NIP. Not easy targets at all. They come here. We were talking about this, though. FaZe Clan, a lot of their wins and a lot of things in Latin America in general came to frags and really end-of-round saves. But for Latin America, they always play completely differently when they're in international play at an event. How is this going to factor for this one?
Well, I know from Grappel, their LeStream's coach, that they said the way that they beat Empire was by having an elaborate plan. They followed that, and everything worked out the way that they hoped it was going to work out. That's going to be a bit different with FaZe because they're not as predictable.
No.
And these guys are known for, you know, being up for doing some pretty weird things that ends up working.
And it's also very difficult to do that in a best of 3. You might be able to predict one map's worth of materials, but once you get to that point where you're allowing the enemy team the time to make adaptations, it's really difficult to do that.
Yeah, Bank, map number 1 picked up by LeStream. Map 2 is Oregon, picked up by FaZe, and then we'll have Villa as their decider. Actually, I look at this and I see Bank 50-50 for both teams. Both teams are excellent on it. I think FaZe has a bit of an extra advantage. Oregon works out pretty well for both. So I think if there's a map to really, or the game to really go to map 3, this is the one. And Villa, a technical team like LeStream, will have a great time on it. But FaZe has had a ton of success. They kind of figured out the map pretty effectively, unlike teams like Liquid, for example, who still kind of struggle in how to maneuver around it.
I want to mention that the boys from the stream said that this time they're just here for fun.
Yeah.
And the last 2 times we heard that, ENCE won and Liquid.
Yes, and the shout out to Wilkie, by the way, for that. But there you go, map 1, both teams with 100% win rate. 9 bans from this team, which means they probably didn't play it that much, considering the fact that they got knocked out very early, not a single map won at Invitational. And FaZe Clan, 4 times banned, but 100% win rate on Bank as well. So don't just take the numbers for what they are, try to dig deeper into them when you see a number that high and contrast it to the fact that there's a lot of bans and this team haven't really had a ton of play over 2019.
I think LeStream's going to show something different. We've seen them do it before. We saw them do it especially on Coastline, for example, where they basically play a completely different setup for Penthouse than anybody else. So if anyone's going to bring something fancy or new and really try stuff, I think that could very well be LeStream.
And I think that when you're trying new things, the best opportunity to do that is when there's nothing left to lose, because when you lose around, let's say you try a new strategy and it doesn't work out. If it's a high stakes environment, everyone is saying, okay, why do we try that strategy? Why don't we go with something tried and true instead of this new thing? Or you have this kind of stresses that really factor into it when the pressure is up low. and you try something and it doesn't work, you're just like, oh, that didn't work, let's try something different.
Okay,
and I think that really affects the teams.
I want to highlight this because you mentioned this for a second, Alex. You talked about the coach, about Capel from LeStream side. They have Capel and Robs on LeStream side, so coach and analyst. You look at FaZe Clan as well. They have Twister that used to be on NIP, who was, for quite a while, considered the best coach in the region, only really rivaled by Sensei and Silence on Team Liquid. How does that factor in when you're trying to figure out how teams like these two work to try to break them down?
Without stepping on anyone's toes, I think that the way that EU tries to build their strats is to beat everybody and not beat a region. And I feel like when you're looking at LATAM, it's more about the speed and the aggression, and it doesn't work that well against teams that are really good at standing their ground. We've seen that against G2 a few times.
That's a very good point.
Where the only thing that actually broke them was when they just started piling people in for a doorway, and then they could start getting rounds. But they had to commit so much for that to work. So I think the favors on LeStream side when it comes to that.
And I mean, you've mentioned a lot of differences between these two teams, but I have a factor that is in common between these two guys. Last time they were at a major event, it was the Six Invitational 2019, and both of these teams dropped the ball.
Yes.
Both of them disappointed all of their fans. FaZe went out without winning any. They beat NIP, which they used to beating because it's their region, but as soon as they clashed internationally with Reciprocity and Fnatic, they lost. LeStream went out without even a victory at the event.
Not even a single map, actually.
And that was such a surprise. And I think that FaZe and LeStream going out in the fashion that they did at Invitational was one of the biggest upsets of that entire event. And now here we have them going up against each other in a Pro League Finals. FaZe is familiar with Pro League Finals. LeStream's had a fantastic season. This is a perfect opportunity for these guys to actually step up and start making amends for the disappointment at Invitational.
And you look at the highlights of this, we are definitely playing on LAN here, so that's something to keep in mind, not just the venue and everything, but the fact that FaZe plays a lot of BR6, which is exclusively played on LAN in their studio in Brazil. And on top of that, LeStream only a few weeks ago won the most recent French championship, where they beat Vitality in the grand final. Like, actually barely anybody could give them a scratch. So these guys have had some sort of test, some sort of warm-up before getting here, other than the fact that most of them lived together in Paris during their matches. I mean, they have their coach, there's at least 2 or 3 players that are together. Usually Maurice is not available because university and such, and I very much understand that perspective. But still, that builds a lot of teamwork, a lot of personality as well. You start to understand the people that are around you in a way beyond just, we are playing this game together. And that is a big highlight, and especially from your experience.
There's a lot to learn from losing together as a team as well. Because if you can manage to lose together and then stay, work on it, and actually change, and you see improvement, that's going to change the way you play in the future, the way you deal with problems. And I think both of these teams have had a little bit of that in their baggage.
I mean, adding to what we were saying about the maps earlier, the maps that we'll be heading to are ones that we just saw, Bank and Oregon. So we're familiar with a lot of the strategies that the teams so far, Empire and DZ have pulled out. But this is going to be a new perspective, new regions. Empire and LeStream very different, despite coming from the same region. Of course, a bit of that LATAM flavor thrown in there. We, at the start of the day, looked at the operator ban rates for different regions, and we saw quite a lot of differences. And on a map like Bank, when hard breach is so important, we know that FaZe really wants to play that Thermite, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a ban coming out from the LeStream side.
And this is a EU metagame as well, where you used to banning either a Thermite or a Habana on Bank. It's not unusual to force your opponents to rely on Maverick, which is why so many European teams, and even quite a few North American teams, including Reciprocity, focus quite a bit on being very active with the Maverick on maps like that. So there's a lot of in-between to really look at.
I think going into a map like Bank, LeStream wants to throw a curveball. They want to make FaZe really work for it and try to come up with a way to deal with a problem right there on the spot, and then use that as their advantage. Because if FaZe gets to do what they're comfortable with and play at their speed, there's not a lot of stuff that LeStream is going to be able to do against that.
I think we'll be fortunate enough to see a lot more operator variety. Some of the big hitters that we haven't seen so far in this match. If Glaz goes unbanned, both of these teams that we know enjoy playing Glaz. So we haven't seen it much so far today, but I wouldn't be surprised to have it brought out today in this matchup. And there's some other operators that we teased a little bit in the Empire DZ match of a Ying, which is very useful on Bank as well. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some more of that kind of stuff, some more of the hard holding in the service stairs with a shotgun, various operators you can do for that. Ella we've seen so far. And I think that, we're going to be treated to an absolute blast.
All right, well, with that said, it's time to get the show on the road again. FaZe Clan versus LeStream. It's Brazil versus, well, mixed European team. They're not really French at this point. Let's have a look at that. Kicks, Intero. Have fun.
Thank you so much, Analyst Desk, and thank you, Milos, thank you, Zeronic, and thank you, Dev Marta. Of course, this is going to be another opportunity for a European team to get a spot in the semifinals. Now, the very first opportunity for a Brazilian team as well, as we still have Immortals coming up in our next match, but FaZe Clan carrying the banner for this region, coming off of a hot finish to Pro League in the previous season, but their regional results haven't really been what they've wanted outside of Brazil.
Yeah, FaZe had a really interesting run in Pro League. I mean, they ended up with 4 losses total, and a lot of those due to technical difficulties, but 10 wins overall, and a huge stretch through that second half of just win after win after win. We're going to go ahead and load straight into Bank. Now, Bank, one of those maps that both teams actually have comfort on, as we saw at the very beginning there. A decent 100% win rate for both squads.
Yeah, decent.
Yeah, decent.
Oh, it's decent.
Solid.
We've never lost this map in this season.
It's decent.
It's decent.
So,
I think we're going to do okay, boys.
We're going to jump straight into the banning here, as you can see. And FaZe has already gotten rid of Hibana. Nomad going to be banned out by LeStream. That is a very common ban these days. Allows for a lot more aggression on the defensive side. A lot of plays that otherwise would just be, no, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. Oh, getting rid of that Nomad, pretty influential. Valkyrie, wow, that is a target ban and a half. And Parker, you were talking about that earlier, is target bans.
We were talking about this technically off stream.
Yeah.
Well, I was still talking about it earlier.
It was earlier. It was just a little bit ago. But Parker was bringing up the fact that LeStream, they don't ban the same thing every day.
When we dive through the information before we go into the actual matchup itself, one of the most, I guess, time-consuming but still very elucidating things that we do is operator bans, map bans, etc. And when you look over FaZe is very routine in what they ban. The Hibana ban does not surprise me at all, number 1, because this is Bank, and number 2, because for the longest time, she was the most banned attacker operator from FaZe. In fact, it was actually the joint Japanese forces in the Hibana and Echo bans that characterized FaZe for most of the season. Now, this changed when Ion came onto the roster. They started banning Maestro on defense. But LeStream don't have much consistency in what they ban.
Yeah.
If you look, they've banned Dokkaebi, Mira, Echo, Ying. It's crazy, actually, the amount of different operators that they banned. I think Dokkaebi was their most banned attacker at 3 bans, if I remember correctly, over the season. It was wild, the amount of bans that LeStream had done, and they're always targeted. They're always counter bans to their opponents.
And that's the conclusion. It's really simple. It's just they're trying to get rid of what their opponents really enjoy using. In this match in particular, they're getting rid of a Nomad to open up their flanks, and they're getting rid of a Valkyrie because they know, yeah, any Latin America team, you get rid of Valkyrie, that's their primary fragger on defense. That's a specifically Latin American trait. And, well, I'm sure LeStream will be plenty comfortable without a Valkyrie. So, moving forward into this match, see, quite an interesting lineup here brought by the defense. 3 operators brought with the intent of denying that plan at default spot. It's your Maestro, your Mira, and your Smoke. And I guess you could count the Pulse, who will be support in that same endeavor. You've got one counter of the opponent, that's going to be Jaeger. Catch those throwables, those projectiles. On the side of the attack, one thing that's very important to note is the fact that Jackal has gone unbanned on a map like Bank. He is going to be brought almost every round.
Particularly strong and used by quite a wide variety of regions. In fact, we actually saw Jackal's ban rate start to tick up. I believe it was North America where we saw it actually break into the top 5 for a brief period of time towards the end of the season. And a lot of that is counter bans, but also Jackal holds one of the best guns in his hands, period. He's got smokes available. You know, he's a 2-speed, so you don't have to worry about him being too slow. He's got that secondary shotgun, which in a pinch can work in soft destruction. Let's say you're running a Zofia, let's say you're running a Buck, let's say you're running a Sledge, and one of them dies, and you have a Jackal. Not all hope is lost with that same soft destruction, even though he's not as proficient as the others. He brings an awful lot to the table, and of course on a map like Bank, he's great for roam clearing. That's his primary focus. add all those together, and he's a potent fragger who has utility that can really help alleviate the problems that a good roaming team can present to you.
Yeah, and fragging is really, as we've talked about, as the analysts talked about, kind of the name of the game for this match. I mean, you're two teams that are well known for their fragging power, and it's just kind of going to come down to which one can be more powerful, I suppose, right in the moment. Hick's going to gather some information on those server stairs. You can see Ion playing smoke, a little bit aggressive, and he's gonna fall back. Just like that. Gets droned out, and he'll decide to play safe. Probably the right call. Shield's been broken, and there's only a minute left here for LeStream, so you may as well play it safe.
As we saw in the Dark Zero and Empire matchup, it's really just a technicality to be able to open up this wall, and the side pressure that was going to come from LeStream is shut down by Astro, but he's traded off by Uno, so you see both of the teams lose one body in the ensuing fray. That happens with a minute still to go.
But wait.
Not to distract me, but the plan is going down. Alfama is in, and there you go, the C4 will hit. Yuna's able to take him down and then add insult to injury. There goes the smoke canister too. Uno takes down Cameraman, but traded off by Yuna. That was 2 kills for the Jackal. From the back, Aces is able to eliminate Ion, who wasn't quite aware that this entire push from LeStream is coming over towards lockers. It's unorthodox to say the least, but there's Yuna on the stairs to try and bail out his team. Where Hicks will be is the real question. While he's inside, he can pick up that diffuser at his leisure and possibly rotate on out, but there's nobody that's watching over towards the gold side, except for Mav, who's gonna have the heartbeat of Hicks in his hands, and he's gonna coordinate quite well with Yuna. Lock it down. They call those operators an anchor, and Yuna is an anchor for just about any team you find him on. The very first round is gonna go to FaZe with some very good coordination, and despite that brazen play by LeStream to go for a lockers push, it doesn't really work out.
Yuna, certainly the hero of that round, and what a save it was. I mean, geez, the plant going down, default spot inside of lockers. I say default spot, a lockers plant does not happen very often, but it was about to. We were getting close there. It looked like it was going to be successful, but here you go. Perfect timing there from Yuna to take down Alfama, and then follows that up with a few kills of his own just with the Vector. Beautiful job there on the anchor, and it's a good salvage to start things off. 4K as well for Yuna in the first round. Now, that rush from LeStream very nearly worked, and that's I think important to note, is the fact that we saw a rush up those main stairs by the Jaeger, and that was a definite mistake from Astro. He tried to get aggressive, tried to go for the flank. Not entirely sure what he was thinking, to be honest. LeStream were ready on the flank watch, and they shut him down for it. That opened up an opportunity. As soon as that pick came from Jaeger, you could almost hear the call come out from LeStream. They don't have anyone to hold on to elevator hallway. We can push lockers. They dropped to the drop down that was opened by the Maverick earlier. They hit site. It was very simple. I love the seizing of the opportunity there from LeStream. It was just Yuna salvaging things that managed to thwart them.
And it's really fascinating when you look at the way that FaZe had to change things up. After the departure of Moringa and after, well, the departure of FaZe from the group stages in 6 Invitational, it was Moringa who departed that team. They picked up Ion, who's quite a promising person in Brazil. If you really looked at him, a lot of people think he has a ton of potential and the sky is the limit. And his ability to come onto this team almost seamlessly. And it was an integral part of the fact that FaZe went undefeated in the second half, 7-0. Yeah. Were the first loss that was handed to Immortals, the only undefeated team at that point in the second half of the season. The reason that Ion stepped onto this team was also his flexibility. Moringa could flex, sure, but they mostly kept him in hard support roles. Ion, if you look at the operators that he's played, is capable of flexing onto attack, putting Yuna in more of the hard breach support roles, and possibly having the rest of the team work around that while being a steady anchor on defense.
Yeah, he got brought on only 2 months ago, and he came out of the gate swinging. You got to be proud of that. And we've seen more and more of that, newer players coming into Pro League like Ion and really making a splash. I mean, Ion's not totally new. He played for T1 before you. But anyway, moving on. FaZe Clan going to the top floor. They're in a good spot right now in that they've not had any of these walls opened up just yet. You can see that Cameraman, now playing Mira, is waiting for an opportunity to go for a C4, potentially a run out there from storage, and you can see LeStream has detected that. Oh, okay, it looks like the Evil Eye is put in a position to potentially deny this wall, and the melee holes are in an endeavor to do that. No, I was curious. Not sure what the plan is there. Unreinforced wall. Kind of odd setup.
The wall goes, though, and it also sounds like a C4 has been expended. It's the Nitro cell that was tossed out from Cameraman's Mira. So you do lose one of those explosives. You still have a second in the hands of Pulse.
Okay, I was wrong. The wall was reinforced. Pardon me.
That's okay. We all make mistakes, Michael. But you've got the walls open, or one wall open of CEO now. Very similar to that CCTV takedown stairs. You're going to open up the walls. It's mostly a technicality. A lot of teams don't contest it as much. It's what happens in the interim. Yuna will find his 5th kill, an impressive shot onto Rise, which will shut down the Zofia, and with a minute left, will give FaZe an advantage heading into the final stretch.
Now Yuna, that's 5 kills for him over 2 rounds. That nade almost takes down Yuna, though. Good job there, but not enough. LeStream looking for some picks. They're used to getting them. They're not going to, though, in the first 2 minutes of this round. They're waiting patiently for somebody from FaZe to peek and give an opportunity away, but it's just more and more attrition on the side of LeStream as Astro takes down Una in the main hallway. Easy push here for the Maestro. He's looking for a second. Astro, a beautiful shot there onto Hicks, and he goes for a third, but he won't get it. Yuna's the one to get his own second, leaving just Aces in a 1 versus 5. He'll hot breach and die, and that's it. FaZe put 2 rounds in a row. Beautiful job on the defensive bank.
I mean, even without those statistics, we know what Latin America is to bank. And while it's maybe fallen out of favor within the region recently, it's still always been one of the most consistent maps for them. And when you have 2 teams that are entering with a perfect record on bank, well, something's got to break at some point. Now, as we saw in the Dark Zero Empire matchup just a couple minutes ago, on bank, expect a pretty close contest. Some defense wins on some sites, attackers win on the other. We are still technically in a defender-sided meta, so expect the defense to do better than the attackers by and large. But really, when you look at it, the first 2 rounds for LeStream have been lifeless.
Yeah, and 6 kills over 2 rounds for Yuna individually. Just standing up, Astro with his 3, and, 1 on cameraman. You don't even need the whole roster of FaZe to contribute just yet. We'll get to that point, but not quite there right this minute. So, FaZe having a very good run, as you can tell. Yuna's really finding his home on that Mira. We're going to go to Tellers now. Tellers is going to be defended from the top floor, as we've talked about before. You need to at least delay the attackers when they're trying to clear upstairs. You can see that there's a Twitch being brought here. No Jackal for LeStream. And why? The Mira's been a problem, and they're trying their best to deal with it. Now, I would find it incredibly surprising if FaZe allowed the Twitch drones to get through to those mirror windows, but then again, it is a roam on the top floor, and the mirror windows are likely to be set up along that roam, so there's going to be less manpower to watch for the Twitch drone, so it's possible, certainly possible, for Hicks to get a nice drone in there. We'll come down to some good planning on his part, I'm sure.
I know the kills aren't everything, but LeStream is just going to go for broke. They're all in the site. Oh my God. Yuna will shut down Uno, but right now, LeStream has full control. Being battled back, though, is Ion as he guns down Rise, and Hicks is there too, and this is extraordinarily messy. Alfama is in now as well. What is going on? It's a plan in the middle of the site, and there's nobody nearby to do much. Where's FaZe going to go? They'll peel off the plan, but it looks like Alfama will go for it yet again, with Hicks possibly doing some covering work. Nobody's any the wiser, as there you go, it will go down, and I think this will confuse FaZe quite an awful lot. Where cameraman Astro and Mavar is the real question. There's some shots from the MP5 of Mav that will go on through, and it will finish off Hicks, as Aces sees another body himself, trying to contest inside of the staff area. Aces will now head into admin area and just hold off while Alfama is nestled inside of the site. And Aces just waiting for Astro to push him on up. That's exactly what the Jaeger will do. Alfama finds cameraman, takes him down, pistol out. Oh, Aces, a beautiful shot! Oh my God, two very quick kills with Aces with the pistol on out. And LeStream goes for broke. The gamble works out. What a round from them.
Wow, that's some amazing pistol play from Aces, often referred to as one of the best fraggers, not only in Europe, but in the world. That's Aces standing out in that moment in time. Nearly a team ace. Only person not to get a kill there on the side of LeStream was Uno. Aces had to get those 2. But overall, well, I'm not going to say good strategy. It worked, but that was just a rush straight into sight, and it almost got shut down, very nearly. Nice try there from FaZe to lock it out, but ultimately, again, the fragging power from LeStream, we've talked about it, and it really is something to note, is that, yeah, they can just walk into sight, take fights, and win them, and hey, win rounds off of it. That's the first one for LeStream, though. Just starting out on this scoreboard. Still 2-1 in the favor of FaZe. And, well, there's not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to that round. To be honest, it was pretty much just a rush from Ali. and one late flank from Hicks in the main lobby.
It's fascinating how that worked out. They just sprinted right on in. From Alley.
I think it just comes down to the fact that they read that there were roamers on the top floor. I mean, the roaming strategy upstairs is super common. It's on tellers, it's almost essential these days. And given how common it is, I'm guessing LeStream actually were pre-prepared to. Oh, that sounds weird. They were prepared though for an eventual roam on a teller's defense on the top floor.
Like pre-prepared as if
pre-prepared, yeah,
like a microwave dinner.
I like saying redundant things, but yeah, no.
Pop it in the microwave. 2 minutes. Beep, it's done.
Yep. No, but that strategy was clearly just set up in advance by LeStream. I mean, yeah, if your opponent is going to roam heavily on the top floor, you have an opportunity, and LeStream sees that opportunity. I doubt it'll ever work again, but they have balanced things out here a little bit. A little bit.
So it's going to be another spawn over in the alley by Alfama. He's going to be all on his lonesome with that diffuser, trying to head on in, and he's going to rush in again to meet the rest of his team. LeStream are so fast, 40 seconds. They've been able to take control of the Skylight Stairwell. Now they're going to have no problem getting the hatch as well, and Mav will fall off, who's playing beneath it.
But I think they haven't cleared the roamer in CEO, if I'm not mistaken. I thought I saw a body in there. Yes, indeed, I did. It's Astro. He's in a position to easily flank his opponents because he wasn't droned out. He might even get a free kill right here and now. And yeah, there it is. Rise goes down. That's Capital. Wow. Unfortunate mistake made there by LeStream. Not fully droning out Bank. You hate to see it, but it does happen. And that'll put FaZe in a great spot. But Astro does go down. However, he got a Capital for a Jaeger. That is a win.
Huge victory. Massive trade for them, and LeStream are going to find themselves losing their only set of smoke on what is a site that almost always inevitably needs smoke in order to pull off a successful plant for most teams. Now, mind you, the caveat to that is that a lot of teams will just bait out right where you see that exothermic charge going off in what is referred to as default plant spot. Well, you'll walk in, you'll try to plant in the opening that was created there. Uno giving us a great example of exactly what I'm talking about. And you don't necessarily need smoke for that particular instance, but it's very easy for your nitro cells and your toxic canisters to do great work. And of course, there's an echo on the board. Tons of plant denial here if you look at FaZe Clan's lineup.
So this pre-fire that you just saw Uno committing to is where he knows the smoke to be. And here it comes, the C4, but it's shut down by Uno. Beautiful shot there. It's not going to allow the plant, though, because there are plenty of backups here for FaZe Clan. They got the Yokai drones, they got the gas canisters, they have Pulse's C4 still. So there are options here for FaZe, but they are being countered very handily.
But there's still 40 seconds. There's only one toxic canister that's left that can be thrown out from the smoke. And other than the nitro cell that you see on the Pulse, you're going to rely an awful lot on Cameraman staying alive, which for the time being seems to be pretty easy. There isn't much of a contest on the Cameraman's location, and if those Yokais can just continuously exist, they're going to be so valuable in the dying seconds. But pulling a rabbit out of his hat, Cameraman with 2, but he's distracted. Can't really do much. Mav takes out Alfama, and LeStream are in dire straits. It's an explosive end to the diffuser, and then he puts matters into his own hands with the UMP, and Mav will pick up 2 kills to end the round for FaZe Clan. What a triumph this has been for them so far on defense, on Bank.
Yeah, wow, that round seemed to be straying the direction of LeStream. It looked like we were going to have LeStream just, well, walk away with it because they were very easily dealing with that counter-plant utility. But then that 2-piece on the main stairs by Cameraman, I mean, wow. Should not have happened, should not have resulted in, I mean, it just shouldn't have happened. But it did. Uno with a great shot there. He didn't actually have to look from that angle, by the way. It was a lot easier for him. Cameraman, here it is, the double piece, the drop shot. You don't see these often, but here it is to counter out the reload. Beautiful job. That saved the round right there. And it was a nice job by LeStream to double up on flank watch from main stairs, but that just wasn't enough because Cameraman hits his shots. And Mav on the Pulse. Nothing to counter that Pulse. Unfortunate to see. No Thatcher there for a brief window of opportunity. Allowed for some great information from Mav, followed up by denial of the diffuser plant.
I mean, with what's being brought out from FaZe right now, a Thatcher would solve a lot of these issues on that CCTV site. Number one, the EMP disables the cardiac sensor, as you noted. It also happens to disable any possible evil eye cams that might be in play, as there's a Maestro. It also takes out the Yokais as well. There's a lot of things that a simple Thatcher would really aid on the side of LeStream, but they haven't wanted to run with that. That's a questionable decision for what we've seen so far. It might just not be an operator that they really enjoy having in their wheelhouse on bank, though we do know that Thatcher does get brought from LeStream on other maps.
Yeah, it's true. And another fun fact is I have been proven wrong. We have not been seeing Jackal very much at all here from LeStream. They are jumping from operator to operator, seemingly confused about what they want to bring here. They're trying to find the right tools for the job. Thus far, it's been a struggle for LeStream, and, well, they haven't found those right tools. They're working on it, though. I'm sure eventually they will get it. That's the name of the game for LeStream, is flexibility. One yokai drone, or rather, shock drone, destroyed. And it was right before it was able to take down one of those Evil Eyes. And that's a pretty important pick there for FaZe, as there's not only Evil Eyes, but also yokais in play here to defend, as well as mirror windows, honestly.
Oh, what a great coordinated effort, disoriented before he sees his own life flash before his eyes. Uno, who was so triumphant in his entry through the lobby, will be no more. Dying on top of that spiral staircase, sliding down towards the bottom, as Astro will just be anchored on in the elevator with a great angle and a very powerful gun, being able to lob shots quite a long distance, similar to an artillery cannon.
It's a good angle here for Alfama. He knows that there's somebody playing by that reception desk, just waiting for somebody to peek into his line of sight. It's a dangerous position to play, but it can net some great results. Yuna is the one who is trapped there, and he's trying to hold on to the main stairs. Hicks pushing up there, Rise droning Hicks in. But there's a crossfire between the Maestro and the Echo, and there's no right decision here for Hicks. He's got to just get a little lucky. Evil Eye calls out, and there's the push from Yuna. Rise with the refrag, but it's expected, and ooh, a double piece for Rise. Beautiful job there. He knows someone's playing by Garage, and he's going to do his best to get rid of the Evil Eye and disrupt Astro. Here's Astro's position, though. He still has a dream line of sight to hold on to this push by Banana. If he can take down one for himself, then it won't be a terrible exchange. And he will, just there. That's his second in the round as well, so great hold from the Garage. He'll even drop, rather I say, the elevators. He's on main stairs and doing more damage. Rise lit up in difficult position.
Wall will go as Alfama and Rise are the only hope of LeStream for the time being. Astro still being ever so elusive as he'll now head all the way towards Skylight Stairwell, very far back. Alfama gets pushed up to supply, though, because of the toxic canisters, and will find a kill on the Ion in the interim. Standing on top of the desk, Alfama will go for the plan as Mav is below, and Alfama losing some HP. The Pulse beneath him, he has to be very wary of the fact that there's still a Nitro cell in the hands of the Pulse, waiting for it to possibly come out. But amidst the bomb, it's a successful kill for Astro as Alfama had no coverage.
Oh, he downed him!
Downed, but he can withstand, pick himself back up. Does anybody know his position? Well, it doesn't really matter. You only have a tiny bit of HP, and Astro will take the rest of it away from him. Alfama looked like he would be safe on top of that CEO desk, but it was not to be, and FaZe will take their 4th round of 5. It'll be their very final defense. 4 kills for Astro on that round. What an impressive performance.
Yeah, beautiful plays from Astro, but also just everyone on FaZe, to be honest. They set themselves up to hold that push from Banana so very well. Excellent teamwork, gotta say. LeStream even had some amazing standout moments, like this, for example, where Rise manages to get a double kill and then, you know, stops Astro from applying pressure to his flank by using that lifeline. But it just wasn't enough. Seeing some really heavy punches being thrown by both squads, but ultimately FaZe, the ones coming out heavily on top. Now, moving forward from that last defense, it just doesn't seem like anywhere we go, there's much luck for LeStream. But one place where they have managed to get a win is Archives Tellers, where we find ourselves right this minute. So this is an opportunity, that's for sure. You can see FaZe are setting up for vertical play again, which means they're likely going to invest heavily in holding the top floor. And if they are not prepared for a rush, then LeStream might give them a rush. I think it's going to come down to how LeStream reads this round, though. And I seriously doubt to see 2 in a row.
I mean, realistically, there's not going to be another rush, right?
Right.
You can't expect that because FaZe is going to be very wary of it, and they will likely have some preparation to stop LeStream as they go to bulldoze their way on in. Unfortunately for us, it's very hard to dissect what could possibly happen here on Teller's Archives because the only instance of it so far was a strategy that is often considered a pocket strat and not something you can rely upon regularly, which is, well, rushing on into sight. And for the time being, it doesn't really look like LeStream is going to go for broke.
Maybe a main lobby take based on the spawns. That's what it looks like. We've got a few people going back alley, but primarily spawn towards ATMs.
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
But it does appear to be the lobby as the main point of contact for both Hicks and Uno, being joined by Alfama as well, as they are all on drones and trying to figure out where you're going to see Aces spawn in the back alley will go towards.
Curious what the plan is here for Alfama. He's moving over to Lone Office. He's going to be able to open up a crossfire, I suppose, but he's also exposed to anybody roaming top floor. And there are roamers top floor from FaZe. So this is definitely going to be tricky for LeStream to manage. This strategy works if you can stop the roamers on the top floor from pressuring you, but it's also hurt by not only those roamers, but the player on the mirror window, and he's gone. There goes Ion.
That was Ion playing, and he did manage to take a bit of HP off of Uno, but at the same time, you're going to be flirting with disaster. Oh, Astro from above. Astro and Una have absolutely dominated the standings so far for their team, and Astro will continue to do so and take out Hicks in the process. Now with the electrical gadgets that are brought by FaZe, and IQ would be quite instrumental, but if you look at the lineup for FaZe, you're not really going to need her gadget that much. You're not dealing with any Evil Eyes, you're not dealing with any Echoes, you don't have to worry about too much other than ADS, and, well, I mean, you have to worry about Astro. He's going to take a second down, but there's not much that an IQ could have done to solve that. You lose Aces in the process, and Astro will continue his reign of terror, picking up kills 9 and 10 so far in this round.
Yeah, he's doing great so far in this match, and you can see that there's still plenty of anchor presence here for FaZe, but they're going to lose one of the roamers upstairs. That's Mav. A call is made by FaZe. Fall off top floor. Play the site. It's 3-3. There's only a minute left for LeStream. LeStream is good at making little time like this work in a site take. They, however, will not be able to turn that vertical control into anything, really. There is one roamer still upstairs. That's Astro, looking for more frags. He's got all of the kills for his team this round. Uno, playing by Cashbag, is doing his best to deny this entry, and he will be successful, but Astro's the one credited with the kill. There's Una shut down finally, and Astro not going to be able to get any more kills this round. Cameraman now the last one alive, but he will finish off Rise. It's just Uno and Camera in a 1 versus 1, but the plant is going down. Cameraman by open area. He doesn't know that this is happening, and he won't be able to deny it, which means he's going to have to work around a post plant. This is a tricky situation for any player, but it's made worse by the fact that Cameraman will die to a single bullet from Uno. There's the mirror window working against Uno, though. He's going to creep up on it, trying to get a position where he won't be exposed to it just underneath the window. It's clear that Cameraman does not have information. He's just looking for an opportunity. He's unlikely to find one, but he might get a little lucky. This vault, if he goes for it, will broadcast his intention and position, and the call's coming up from the drone. That's it. Uno will win the round. A 4K for him, and LeStream get another one.
Great ragdoll animation there. Very cheery.
Yeah. The fact that LeStream managed to get that window, I mean, that's 4-2 now. That's not amazing.
That was Ion that we see on the replay being a little bit too focused, blinded almost with the horse blinders on, staring right at Uno, and not really much else. And because that Hicks was able to get what was a pretty easy kill. A nice shot, but a pretty easy kill because Ion wasn't in a position to re-engage or fire back.
I mean, a good first half here for FaZe is my main takeaway. Uno, yeah, star of that round. Again, 4 kills. Really took it handily. Just walked into sight, got a bunch of kills, you know, like Uno does. And FaZe had a really good first half. There's not much more to say. LeStream are going to go on defense now. Often, I think people would say that defense on Bank is the advantaged side, so that is worth mentioning.
Uno bailed LeStream out of so many tricky situations, and while a lot of those rounds didn't end up going in LeStream's favor, it was still Uno there to try and keep the team in it. And, I mean, you can't fault Uno. He's been so consistent on this team. He was consistent on Ents when he was on it. He's consistent on LeStream. But the person who really needs to work out the rust and step up at the moment for LeStream, should they want to win Bank, falls on Aces' shoulders. Aces has the distinction of being usually one of the most aggressive and one of the most consistent players in all of Pro League. He's one of the best entry fraggers that we've seen as well statistically over the past couple seasons. And while, yes, sometimes he does get overshadowed by people on his team, and while he does get overshadowed by people within his region, he can still be brutally efficient and very effective at being able to take down anybody who comes his way. And against a team like FaZe, a team that is so good at landing their shots, you need to have somebody like Aces come alive. You can't just rely solely on Uno to really carry the weight. Everybody else outside of Uno on LeStream are all about the same at the moment. And like we say, well, kills don't matter the most. For aces, you need to be able to get your kills. He needs to be able to rack it up on that scoreboard because that is his job.
You can also say it's really the kind of the story with LeStream. Is one of the things that I think a lot of people critiqued LeStream about when they first came together, which was actually not too long ago, is at the end of 2018. But we'll talk about that later. For now, Astro taking down Uno. It's a pretty good start. Lesion gone. Got rid of all those potential goo traps that could have come out later. And, well, there's that kill. Just playing in open area, a little bit exposed, not a lot of information. It's unfortunate to see. But yeah, some more aggression from the defense at the top of server stairs.
Yeah, there's a cluster right now of FaZe over top of server as they've opened up the hatch and looked to head on down, but LeStream is just sitting pretty inside of the site waiting. They've opened up the other hatch now as well inside of the office next to open area. So there's pressure that FaZe can apply as Astro, who has been the standout performer of this matchup, now heading into the sewers. And that's an interesting place for him to be. I mean, he didn't really need to go all that way where he could have just come down the stairs. He knows that cameraman has full control. He'll open up a peephole into the wall that faces the mirror window. They being anchored down by LeStream, just waiting ever so patiently. Now cameraman will come back up to those hatches that you know that he likes to sit on top of. But he forgoes them and instead will head towards the main stairs. This is a very interesting rotate from FaZe here.
Well, it looks like he's maybe going to open it late, but he's going to start things off with a juggle of the utility. Of course, FaZe knows they need to try and get rid of these gas canisters, C4s, etc., just to lighten the load when they go for an actual plant, a default spot. They've only got 30 seconds to make this happen, and Hicks is playing the long angle from Garage to deny the plant. So someone from FaZe is going to have to win this fight, but it's going to be Hicks to win it against Ion. Beautiful angle play there. Just tapping away with that suppressed MP5, and it's working out great. Uno going for the plant, though. Is there anyone to deny is the question. Alfama lands a beautiful shot. He's going to go for the rush, and he will deny that plant. Uno shut down. Cameraman on the flank, though. He's not going to be able to do anything in regards to that diffuser. Mav also elsewhere, so looks like FaZe have pretty much lost this round. And based on time, a little bit too much deliberation on the side of FaZe, pardon me, they lose on time.
Is my brain not working? But Hicks threw the C4, it landed, and then he never activated it again.
I did not see.
From our perspective, it was sitting on the floor, and then Hicks just jumped up and went and got the kill on his own, or Alfama rather, not Hicks.
Maybe he was just trying to fake it out. If you're talking about Alfama, yeah, I think he was just trying to fake it out. Based on what he did, he just went for a straight rush. I mean, and it worked out great for him. Sometimes you don't need to actually kill them with the C4. Sometimes you just need to distract them. And with so little time on the clock, you may as well.
It was odd.
It was odd. Yeah,
it could have been a spectator thing.
Maybe, yeah, maybe it got shot. Something along those lines, but...
Did not get shot.
Okay, there you go. It didn't then.
Did not get shot.
Okay. So, whatever the case...
I could see it.
Whatever the case be, wasn't detonated either.
No, it wasn't.
So... Good rush, though, from Alfama, and he did manage to get those kills to deny the plant and get the plant cover. I think it was, yeah, probably just a split-second decision, like, hey, you know what? The C4 is going to distract them. I'm going to go for it. Now, moving to, looks like CEO here for LeStream, and the defense has been kinder to LeStream so far. Only one defense, though, to show.
Well, you noted that Bank is going to be mostly a defender-sided map.
Yes.
And because of this, we expect it to continue to go in that direction. The real question is going to be what happens after a CCTV and CEO defense. Now, CEO has emerged as the second most defendable site and has been going this way for
a long time.
About a year now, I would say, probably. Popularized by a team that was competing in this tournament, no longer is, which is Dark Zero and Evil Geniuses as well. Both of them employing the CEO defense in North America and a couple teams in Europe doing so as well.
Also Latin America. I think it was pretty prominent in Latin America. Remember, we had the Bank era. And in fact, you could even credit FaZe Clan with helping with that.
Yeah. And the real story for me on all of these sites is how the mirrors have been getting played. And obviously mirror is going to be a focal point for a lot of teams, but you saw Yuna playing her so effectively, and now you saw the same thing from Alfama on one round, and you're in a position now where Mira and the way that those Mira windows are played is going to be pivotal on a CEO defense.
Yeah, Mira is hit and miss on importance on some maps these days, but on Bank, I'll forget about it. She's one of the most useful operators outright. The fact that she isn't banned here is, of course, pretty important because of that, and she will be played most rounds. Where her Mira windows face, you're going to have to adjust your strategy a little bit for every single time you're attacking. And in this case, there's no Twitch to counter them.
And FaZe banning out the Clash is a smart move because you know that we see LeStream play the Clash and do so effectively. And dealing with shields is particularly annoying for most teams. Most people who play against FaZe know that when Uni used to play on either the Blitz or the Montaigne. FaZe used to have those shield strategies alongside of Finka, so it wouldn't surprise me to see them not want to play against shields on their own. But that's what ultimately left this Mira available. And then, of course, the counterban from LeStream onto Valkyrie. So FaZe's presence inside of the main lobby has been known to the remaining members of LeStream that are looking for it. Aces has lost a bit of HP, as has Astro. So there's been some ensuing fire. And Aces is going to cast Astro as he heads up those spiral stairs. He's playing on the Mira window, and he has a lot of information right at his fingertips. And like I said, Aces needs to come alive if LeStream wants to take the wave and ride it on out. Yuna shuts down Uno, as Uno cannot pop up behind that Teller's counter. And that'll be Yuna continuing on with the good work that he's done in roles that don't necessarily require contributions on the scoreboard, but he's proving otherwise, and doing so quite well. A trade comes out as Cameraman gets a kill traded off by Alfama. So this Mira, once again, is going to be of some importance. Alfama, another, takes down Mav, and it's LeStream who's coming alive on defense, looking like a CEO. Defense is going to be quite successful. Unlodged from that Mira window is going to be Aces and Rise. Will get a kill of his own to go alongside the two teammates. It'll be a tie game now. FaZe's momentum vanishing as the sides swap out, and LeStream has been the one to pick it up.
FaZe, a little bit confused. They seemed not sure where they wanted to hit from, apart from the one place where they couldn't, and that's the main lobby stairs. That red staircase, as it's often referred to as, is completely shut down by Ace's position here. It's a great example in this replay. You just can't push that until you get rid of that player on the Mira window. So a blunder and a half, I'd say, from FaZe. They needed to reevaluate their strategy, needed to deal with that Mira window before going for that take. Nice shot there from Camera at the end, but again, ultimately pointless in that round. Now, 4-4. LeStream have not had a lead through this match, but they are very close to getting one in this round right here. Based on what we've been seeing from these defenses, they seem very comfortable and, well, I think their defenses are pretty well thought out. Ooh, they're going to be going for the open Teller's Wall strategy. This will lead to more of a heavy roam from LeStream, and I like to see it. It's good. It's a good way to hold on to Tellers.
Usually requires an ACOG playing at some angle. A lot of teams prefer to put a Rook or a Doc on the stairs, as you see from the composition. There's only one ACOG that is available, and it's going to be on Uno's Echo. We'll see if he actually has one on it or not, which he does. But you're not really going to put Echo in a position where he's your main point of entry on that particular part of the site. He's way too valuable, and as you can see from where the Yokais are located, from Uno, you're likely going to see those Yokais used as information gatherers, not necessarily as plant denial.
Yeah, that's the primary goal there for sure. I mean, I think it also can be used to cover your weak spots. A lot of people, when they see this kind of setup from a defensive team, what they choose to do is hit from square, and that's where FaZe are setting up to take right now, square skylight. And you can cover that with a Yokai drone. If you put a Yokai drone by archives or in square somewhere, hidden away, just waiting to call out that push, it's a good way to, like you say, gather information and potentially, if necessary, deny that plan. It seems like some good drone work coming out here from FaZe. They're going to detect what kind of opposition they'll be faced with when they go for a site take. But before then, they still need to clear out that top floor, which opened up. Very vulnerable, anyone who pushes into top square, thanks to those mirror windows upstairs.
You need to be a lot more particular when you're confronting a defensive setup like that, because especially with the mirror windows in place, there's a lot of open sight lines that can basically destroy you before you're able to take any real map control away. And FaZe has struggled to take proper map control so far through 2 rounds. but they're going to be gifted it as Alfama down below decides to peek. I don't know why, and Una's now in sight. Oh my goodness, Una's just there going for the plant, but Rise will shut him down. Pulls out the shotgun, expecting another, but good crossfires with Mav there. I think FaZe realized that they can do the LeStream strategy, just bull rush right on into the site. A second kill for Mav will come out as he charges on in. He's now holding that diffuser too. He's got Ion with him as covering fire. So Uno will go back onto his yokai drones, reposition Mav, vulnerable for a period of time to get that diffuser down, and nobody from LeStream seems to know at all. A successful defuse in the very first for FaZe on attack, as Uno will now move on in on his own. The rest of FaZe will look to lock it on out as Uno will try for the comeback now, evening things at 2-2. Everybody else is at full HP. Where Cameraman and Ion are playing is incredibly important. Ion will find aces, and that'll leave Uno now in a position where he might not be able to walk away with it. He can't control the bearing 9 at all. It's too unwieldy, and Ion will take it. And Michael, you said it. LeStream has never had a lead in this matchup, and they're going to be denied it for at least another 2 rounds because it's going to be FaZe taking the lead off of a very good read on the way that the Archives Teller's setup was. Hey, everybody from LeStream is playing upstairs. Let's just run right into site. It's free.
Yeah, and I was talking about it at the beginning of the round. It's usually what you'd have because that, like I said, most teams consider, when they see this strategy that we saw LeStream setting up on that site, most attacking teams will be like, okay, yeah, we'll just hit it from Archives. And most teams on defense, when setting up the strategy that LeStream brought, then consider that kind of a weak point. You have to bolster Archives. So usually you'll see like a yokai drone or some kind of extra little point of diligence placed in a position to deny the push that FaZe just gave us. But there wasn't on the side of LeStream. There just wasn't. And I think it was Alfama who gave away a very early pick, just kind of peeking from Archives near the shelves. Definitely made that worse. So huge opportunity gifted to FaZe, and FaZe did not relent. As soon as they saw the opportunity, they're like, yep, that's us. We're going in there. And they're going to take a timeout after that. Beautiful victory, just trying to solidify their lead by planning out the next few rounds.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
FaZe Clan have 3 rounds left until a possible overtime scenario. They're only 2 rounds away from victory. This is the time where you want to recoup. Take a moment to go through those strategies because right now, the rotation is going to favor LeStream. You've got CCTV and then probably CEO on deck should LeStream prove to be successful in their next defensive stead on CCTV lockers, which is, as of this moment, where LeStream has locked in to go down to. FaZe looked downright bad on CCTV and CEO on the way that they tried to take these 2 sites. And LeStream were better every single step of the way. In terms of holding map control, instead of being able to out-peak and out-muscle every single member of FaZe Clan, FaZe just wandered on in and often lost gunfights and didn't really have much utility to try and save them from losing in what would essentially be a heads-up fight against their opponents. This is a good chance for FaZe to be able to figure things out. And you know that you're going to be working against sites that you're not maybe the most comfortable on, maybe you are, and you just got beaten fair and square, sure. But take a breather, sort it out, and then go from there. So, LeStream will go back downstairs to CCTV lockers, as had been mentioned. The timeout expires, and LeStream will now bring a very heavy lineup. That's 4 3 armors, and then Smoke. So, Smoke and his band of, I would say big boys, but I mean Mira's on the table, so I can't say that, I suppose. And as for what FaZe is bringing, it's a lineup that has so many tools at their disposal. A colorful lineup, sure, but it has the ability to shroud you in smoke. It's got concussions, and you're going to put a lot of pressure on with the hard destruction as well, as most teams are going to be running a Maverick and Thermite combo if Hibana is banned on bank.
Oh, and that's what we see here from FaZe. Standard stuff here. Now, they've done this before. They brought this lineup before on this site. And, it didn't work out. So, can they change that result is the question. Cameraman's going to have some pretty amazing stuff to show us on his Maverick. He is a very efficient Maverick, and that's worth noting. Not everybody is. You can do a lot with that blowtorch. You can open up 2 drop-downs if you do it well. You can open up part of one drop-down and another drop-down, and then also a wall somewhere, which is seemingly what Cameraman likes to do. The Thermite brought will probably be focused on one of those server walls and 1 drop.
He was like the most efficient Maverick. I remember the first time we saw him and how quickly he took out that hatch. And it was on bank, if I remember correctly. We were kind of astonished with how easy he made it look, and he'll be right back at it again.
Looks like he's going to be opening up the drop-down above server. So because he opens this drop-down, that means one of those exothermic charges is still committed to server wall, right? So that means only one of the drop-downs over in the open area can be opened up, unless he's going to commit all of his blowtorch to that other drop. I mean, there's options here, but that was an investment and a half there from Cameraman on that drop.
I would imagine he'll do what we've seen a lot of teams do, which is that second hatch that's inside of open area, the one that's actually in open area, not in a small office. He'll likely poke a couple holes in those and then go from there.
Yeah.
It's Electroclawed. So you'll see Cameraman now try to work away and just open up a line of sight, and then likely take out the one that's inside of the small office, which is exactly where Mav is sitting right now, and you can see it's been opened up. So there you go. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You're going to open up the same hatches either way, but that exothermic charge that's in Yuna's hand is going to be so important. Finding out where the Electroclaw is going to be your priority, and there's a soft wall, actually. This is going to be really easy for Astra to be able to take care of it, unless this is a bait from LeStream. Astra will do his best to take out that Electroclaw, allowing freer passage from FaZe Clan once Yuna is able to get the wall open.
Uno's looking for the flank, and he might just find it. He sees the arm of his opponent, but can't land the shot on the head. A little bit of damage done, but the plant's going down all the while, and there's no yokais to deny it. The impacts come out, but it's not enough. The C4 might just be too late, and yes, indeed it is. A 5 versus 5 diffuser plant in default spot of Bank Basement. Ion will get the first kill here onto Hicks. So here comes the slaughter. Mav puts 2 together. Beautiful job. Uno will get his flank, but it might be too little too late, as he's now the last defender alive. He'll have to retake against 4 and get an ace in this round. Can't even take down Mav. A beautiful round there from FaZe Clan, and some serious negligence on the default plant spot by LeStream.
Really well played by FaZe to be able to lock out a push from gold and into the red hallway. You had the Kaid playing on the mirror window from LeStream, who has access to the impact grenades, but instead of tossing any type of plant denial, you toss an impact grenade out. Well, it doesn't do a ton of damage. Sure, it does some damage, but it's not enough to outright kill somebody the same way that a C4 is. It doesn't knock you off the plant the same way a yokai does, and it doesn't force you to maneuver somewhere else in fear of breathing in too much of the toxic gas that comes with smokes canisters. So it's an odd choice of an operator, unless the intention is to possibly be throwing out an Electroclaw to trick it. The Electroclaw was already positioned. These are some beautiful shots that we see, and a good opportunity to remind you of the insane precision that we see from players at this level, and how tough it can be when you're spotted for just a second. That's all it takes. Ooh. Now, here's something I like.
So, Ella shotgun time.
It was LeStream, then Millennium, who made this very, very prominent within Europe. That was also utilized by Rogue in North America, where you put somebody playing a shotgun at the top of the server stairs with the deployable shield, you batten down the hatches, and you commit as long as you can to burn through the utility from the attackers, then maybe be able to shred somebody who pushes your way. Some teams have done it with Mute, some have done it with Jaeger, some have done it with Valkyrie having a shotgun. In this case, Rise and Hicks both love their Ella shotgun, and it's going to be Hicks playing it in this position.
Yeah, so Hicks is one of those players that, how do I put this? He excels at the odd strategy. If you give Hicks something that just doesn't make, not necessarily doesn't make sense, but it's just weird, like you think about it logically, you're like, yeah, okay, it could work. But why would you? Hicks is the sort of player who will take that and turn it into just something amazing. So this isn't too crazy of a thing. We've seen Hicks do much crazier things, like the Fuse pistol shield thing. That was amazing to see from Hicks individually. Yeah, Ella shotgun on server stairs in the hands of Hicks, I think this is going to be a fearsome thing. FaZe is going to have to do a lot of extra work to shut that down, or adjust their strategy completely from a server take. We'll see if they choose to invest the utility or just go elsewhere.
It's going to be very similar to what we saw out of, I believe it was Mint on Dark Zero, who was playing on that similar position as a smoke. You've got Rise there on the smoke, a very familiar position for him to play in, because he's usually the one on the Ella inflicting all that damage. Now, the good news is that it's a lot easier to take this position now that Capitão's fire arrows have been changed around. Those asphyxiating bolts spread to be quite a large distance, and you can push somebody down quite effectively. If you've opened up the hatch, as we can currently see from Cameraman, then it's almost certain death because once you've pushed them back, you have a Zofia in the hands of Astro. You take down that shield. She's got the reduced concussive blast that you're likely going to see from the Gizmots of Hicks that are going to be placed in the hallway. Astro's going to be able to just truck on in and keep trucking as he works his way down. So we'll see exactly what happens here for the time being, but there's been a reluctance from FaZe to push that angle. As you can see, we are almost a minute left in this round, very quickly in, and there hasn't been much of an effort to push off either this Ela or the smoke on server stairs.
They're waiting for those players to make a mistake, and, well, they haven't yet. Both of these players, Rise and Hicks, know that if they just wait, they will be able to deal with this. Ooh, that might have been an exothermic charge there, just impact tricked, but no, doesn't look like it was successful. The drop down in the small office has been opened up, and there's a little line on the drop down in open area. Mav has rotated down to sewers, I believe, and will be coming up below the players inside of server. He's gonna go for a flank on Rise is the one who will have to hold this. Hicks still holding the top of the stairs. He's getting flashed, but he'll win the fight in the first engagement. He's got a second though, potentially on a follow-up. Rise down, holding his flank well. Low HP on Hicks here, but he is still going to get another. Astro though with a double kill, and he'll take down both of the players inside of server. FaZe have lost a lot of utility and a lot of manpower holding on to that server staircase, but they have taken control of it. Now, LeStream only need to deny for 10 more seconds, and it's going to be a straight Hail Mary drop into sight. Alfama, beautiful gunplay here. He will not win the second gunfight, though, and this is going to be Astro putting more kills on the board. Well, Uno will get the final one. LeStream take that round in pretty solid fashion.
This is a valiant effort, but FaZe was just so slow to the punch.
Yeah.
Waiting for everybody to get in position, sure, but you have to ensure that they're getting there fast enough. You cannot begin to push server knowing that you have to translate the rest down to the actual site that's inside of CCTV or lockers with only a minute to go. There's just simply not enough time, especially not when you're down an exothermic charge, an invaluable tool to be able to open up that wall and get the plant down inside of CCTV. Uno was the first person from FaZe to push the server stairs, and he got shredded by Hicks. If it wasn't for Astro coming on in, that really could have gone even worse for FaZe, and it's hard to be worse than the round that they already lost, but they could have lost it even more decisively. Now, part of the reason why the timeout was taken from FaZe is that they likely assumed that at some point, if they lose CCTV, CEO is next on the docket. And that's exactly where we find ourselves, as LeStream will go towards what could be their final defense. Depends on whether or not we see overtime, at which point both teams will be given at minimum one round to defend. CEO went in favor of LeStream last time. In fact, it was mostly a lifeless push from FaZe through the main lobby where they got cut down every single step of the way and didn't really show the same power that FaZe has shown in the latter half of their attacking rounds. I think it's safe to say that FaZe has gotten more comfortable over the last 3 rounds as they've been able to iron out some of the issues that they had with their attacking strats.
They certainly seem that way, though that last round, they didn't have much of an adjustment to what we saw from Hicks and Rise on those stairs. That was the one big speed bump that FaZe just couldn't overcome. What kind of speed bump is LeStream going to present to us this time on CEO? It seems like it was going to be an ATM's run out, and it might actually have been. Here comes the run in from Astro to counter the run out, and Uno goes down. Free kills. Astro says thank you, and he'll get back to his job, rappelling above ATMs.
Astro can just get otherworldly when he's on and just ascend to this incredible level, which is why he goes by Super Astro in a couple games that we've seen from time to time, but is not adopting the moniker this time.
You know, I think he actually plays better when he has that super prefix.
I like that you also used to have Super Liven, who used to be on this LeStream team back when it was Millennium still, so I think it imbues them with a sense of power.
It certainly does. Now, Uno being gone, he was trying to, again, present a speed bump in that he ran out from ATMs. Did not work out, but I'm sure he put fear into the hearts of his enemy as he went down on the main lobby stairs. And there's going to be information here, lots of marks coming out on the side of FaZe Clan. You can see that they're aware that Rise and Hicks are playing the positions that they are. The shield might work out, but it's still a dangerous hold for the Maestro.
This is a position where you know that Hicks is going to be in a fight for his life against Astro. You got a cameraman there waiting to see if there's going to be a rotate, because if Hicks loses. Even if Hicks doesn't lose, there's likely going to be somebody from LeStream that's going to be coaxed on out of wherever they're sitting on site right now. It's going to be Alfama, but there's going to be nobody from FaZe to be able to trade off of Astro, as there's a big play from LeStream to cut down the first member of FaZe who's trying to be point man for their team.
We've seen this from FaZe before. When they're attacking top floor, they tunnel into, and well, I suppose funnel into this main lobby staircase, and it gets them killed every single time. It's going to be difficult for them to actually deal with this dilemma, but they will. Ion takes down Hicks from behind. Beautiful piece of teamwork there from FaZe. Rise will take down Yuna, though, so they're not going unpunished. Rise still holding on to reception, and he's trying to challenge Banana. It's not an easy fight, and he'll lose it. Ion gets his other kill. There you go. Ion putting more on the board. Rise is down. It's just Aces in a 1 versus 2 after he gets to Ion, finally shutting that player out of this round. Ace is in a great spot to deny this push from Banana. He only has to do it for 25 more seconds, and it'll be overtime. He gets one, and the other! A beautiful double kill there by Aces. 3 in the round, and we get overtime.
Of course he shows up as big as he does, and he gets credited for the fact that FaZe stacked up a little bit too much. That carbine has long held the distinction of being one of the best weapons in the entire game, and one of the best on defense, and of course, it's going to chew through anything that it finds. FaZe Clan committing a pretty big error with that play, and it might come back to haunt them depending on what happens over the next 3 rounds, or possibly 2 rounds of overtime.
Yeah.
Good for LeStream is that they're going to go right back onto defense, so that momentum that they've had is not going to break for the time being.
At least there is that, but you know what? If you're FaZe right now, I gotta imagine that you're kicking yourselves, because that was just due to a stack up. Watch here. It's really simple. They lined up. They presented an opportunity to Aces, and Aces is one of those players that he just hits his shots. You give him 2 targets, and he will land the bullets that are required. And like you said, with that carbine on Jaeger, forget about it. Just about as good as it could have gotten there for Aces. Still a round that Aces, or rather, FaZe seemed in the position to win, just couldn't make it happen in the end. Now, it'll be a basement defense here for LeStream to start things off. Now, on overtime, of course, it goes back and forth and back. So we will see LeStream defend twice, and FaZe defend once.
So far, both teams have been 4-2 on their defensive holds. So you got to imagine that it's going to favor LeStream. But I mean, we might have thought that with Nora Rengo and Fnatic just 2 games ago, and it didn't work out because that one time on Border, well, what ended up happening was the attackers won all their rounds instead of the defenders winning it, as we've come to anticipate. So worth noting is LeStream will go up to CEO, I would imagine, if they win CCTV and need to defend a second time, and that's going to work in their favor because LeStream was perfect there both times. That does not bode well for FaZe, but in overtime, sometimes you throw wisdom out of the window. Now, if you look at LeStream's setup, very similar to what we just saw with that Ella and Smoke combo on the server stairs, and FaZe took way too long to be able to cut through that. And it was to their detriment. They ended up losing that round. Realistically, they lost that round before they even hit the site because they bled too much, too early. If, with the tools that are at FaZe Clan's disposal, they are able to dislodge those defenders playing on server stairs by the 1-minute mark with taking minimal casualties in the process, then this is going to bode very well for their chances.
What is this? There's a mirror window facing into server from A wall. That is so curious. There is a heavy stack on a server hold here from LeStream, and it's just something you don't see every day. Now, what we need to see from FaZe because of this is, oh, okay.
This is actually fascinating. If you can play far enough back, you can deprive the Thatcher, or the Thermite rather, from going onto that wall.
Yeah, it's possible. It's certainly possible. I mean, especially with the shotgun DMR combination that Aces is wielding. He's got the ACOG on there. FaZe, again, taking a really long time to do anything. They're trying to get server control. They're trying to run their default strategy, and it's costing.
Mav's going to head on through the sewers as the rest of FaZe assemble up top. You've still got Hicks on server stairs as well, who's now going to come back to site. there's a cacophony of explosions going off as all the flashbangs get thrown towards where Hicks's location used to be, but he got away scot-free. So he's still downstairs inside a server, but would you look at that? 50 seconds left, and these asphyxiating bolts are not going to grow big enough to tickle Hicks at all. Mav is coming in behind him, and Hicks might not be any the wiser, and it's an easy opening frag for FaZe, but they don't have a lot of time to go. Yuna's going to need to get this exothermic charge down as all of LeStream have fallen off, and this ejected Miro strategy that we saw that might have been a good opportunity for the defense to hold on will go nowhere. FaZe now trying to jostle on in, fighting for every inch they can get as C4 gets expended along with the toxic canister, but nobody from FaZe has even tried to attempt a plant just yet. In fact, it's Yuna who's going to run on in and go for a different plant spot. The smoke is going to shroud, and Alfama will pick on out. It's his own teammate. Smokes. No! Alfama, turn around! You're not looking the right way! Oh my goodness, and it's going to be Yuna to take him down with Mav there as well. Oh my, the calamity from LeStream, where if Uno just had it turned around and Alfama had it turned around, that would have been it. A big kill from Rise, trying to figure out where Ion and Mav are positioned now will be the main focus for LeStream. It's Mav up top. They'll sit and perch themselves over these openings that have been created earlier on in the drop downs. Mav waiting very patiently to re-engage. He's got one stun grenade left to possibly blind anybody in that line of sight, but the time is getting very close to the point of no return. Uno doesn't really have a choice. Rise perfectly blinded. There's Mav. He'll take Uno down, looking for the final one. It'll be Ion, and that will be match point yet again for FaZe. A beautiful play and great strategy to be able to run on in, and poor Alfama not turning around and seeing the immobile Yuna behind him perched on top of the table. That could have very easily been a LeStream victory.
You know what? And I was sitting here thinking, if Yuna just went for a plant, you know, when he wasn't in the smoke, it would have been fine. But he had to go for the desk, and I thought that was going to cost him in time. I thought that was going to be the inefficient strategy. But as it turns out, because he went so deep and so far on that desk, so many players just didn't see him. It's actually hilarious. So great job there to FaZe. They played that perfectly. On the other hand, LeStream, some pretty serious mistakes there. And, well, I mean, they did deserve to lose that round.
I mean, you can't even really say that FaZe capitalized on that, right? Because
not really,
Yuna was
no.
already planting when Alfama walked through the smoke. 2 sets of smokes, in fact. Not just 2 smoke grenades, but also a smoke canister from the operator smoke. Hope you're not confused by that. And doesn't bother to turn around. And when he does turn around, knowing that the defuse went down, assuming that it was in the default plant spot, which is a pretty safe assumption to make.
Yeah.
He turns around and Yuna is off the plant and wins the fight.
You know what else, though? The C4 from LeStream, from the Mira, was wasted trying to deny an exothermic charge. The impacts weren't there to use on the Mira window that was opened up. They instead committed to the C4, and it was too little. It was too late. It was after the exothermic charge had already detonated. No kills came of it, which meant that the only denial were gas canisters. Because there was only gas canisters in hand, you saw that Alfama actually had to get aggressive. And yeah, he looked the wrong way, but I mean, that's LeStream playing themselves just ever so slightly. And now they're going to have to attack onto FaZe Clan's basement defense.
And if you look at the way that the setup from FaZe Clan is coming out, it's going to be pretty similar, actually. Though Astro's going to be involved with Uno, it's going to be an altercation to start things off 30 seconds into the round, and it's going to be both of them walking away a little bit worse for wear. There's no dock on the board for the defense, though there is a Thatcher being brought. We mentioned this on CCTV. All of the tools that are being brought from FaZe
Nobody saw anything.
Countered quite heavily by a Thatcher. That appeared to be a bit of a miss smoke.
Nobody saw anything.
Nobody saw anything. My apologies, Michael. No. I was mistaken. Very important that you conceal yourself while doing soft destruction above the stairs.
Yep.
Yes, very, very important.
Super relevant strats.
That might actually end up being a critical failure for LeStream.
Yeah, so if we want to dive on that, that actually could cost LeStream the round pretty easily.
That's their only set of smokes, and you've lost one of the 2.
Yeah, and you have to cover, well, you have to cover 2 smokes worth of ground when you're attacking in through server, so.
Right, usually you want to take out the mirror window that's going to be down in CCTV, and then the other's likely going to go somewhere near the door, maybe over towards the door that leads over towards red. That could end up being a significant issue, and that kind of mistake, with how close these 2 teams have been, that might end up being the round. But that's something that we can discuss in the post, because for 90 seconds so far, there's still been a focus from LeStream on taking control of server. Sounds like a toxic canister is going to go out, and yet another, as Hicks is going to stare right in towards the doorway. He's still got the deployable shield on up. all of the EMP grenades from Hicks are gone.
Yeah.
Which means that you're not going to be able to do anything with the Pulse that's going to be playing inside of Gold. You're not going to be able to do anything to possibly take out any Evil Eyes if you haven't taken care of them yet. Uno's going to fall down, and Alfama also losing his HP as Rise is inside of the garage. Oh, he's got a beautiful opportunity with the 2 kills, taking out the remainder of Astro, who had seen some action earlier on. But Ion will counter punch, taking Aces down. Yuna will now emerge, putting himself in a fight against Alfama, as Yuna is anchored down inside of the elevator. Not a lot of time here for the rest of this team to work up to. Ion has been huge in the second half, and with FaZe currently sitting on match point, they're going to need more from him. Alfama falls now too, and Rise, who has the 2 kills for LeStream, will need to find the rest. He'll take out Ion and immediately fire in towards lockers, assuming that there's going to be somebody there. He doesn't know the positioning of the remaining members of the team. A great look of concentration as he furrows his brow, and with the drone getting shot beautifully, he knows the location of one. He suspects that the other is going to be inside of the elevator, but he's running out of time. And this is going to be the biggest impediment for Rise. With FaZe looking to try to put the map away, Rise is going to have very limited information, very limited time. He'll rush on up, pistol out, but he'll get cut down. Yuna will secure the victory, and FaZe will take map 1 after a bit of a scary set of circumstances. They'll find themselves taking LeStream's map 8-6 and set us up for Oregon, for FaZe to possibly close this series out.
A beautiful round there from all involved. We almost saw a clutch from Rise, but it just was not enough. He's an absolutely insane player, but still not enough. You could see LeStream, I think, a little bit shocked on what just happened. That was their map, as you noted. I think LeStream expected to be able to take Bank pretty handily, but not the case. FaZe putting together some pretty amazing strategies. One thing I want to highlight is Ion's performance in that round. He got 3 kills. That one right there is the one that stands out the most to me. Aces would have been the flank, would have been control of B, would have been so much in that round for LeStream, and he is capable of it, but Ion just did Aces 1 better in that moment.
Yeah, there was great individual performances from both teams. Aces did wake up towards the latter half of the game. So did Ion as well. There was a point where I think we were 6 or 7 rounds in. Ion was 1-5, and I know that you don't necessarily want to always bring that up, because depending on their role, being 1-5 is perfectly acceptable depending on what they're doing. But when he decided to take on a new job of getting kills on this team, the rest of FaZe rose alongside him, and it was the difference maker ultimately. Now we'll see what they can do on map 2, but before we get there, we have the analysts to break down map number 1.
Thank you very much, Michael Parker. That was a pretty excellent map to start things off in LeStream versus FaZe Clan. Gentlemen, we were watching this with a lot of intent, to say the least. Looking back at this, LeStream were so close every single time, but FaZe really had the edge on Bank.
That was half a messy game and half skill. Some of the things we saw, like LeStream definitely tried new stuff. They played Skylight completely open. Twice when they played top floor, the mirror window setup was a bit different. They put that mirror window in server that Cakes mentioned. I think the intent with that one was to play the Kaid and then impact simply into the corner of the mirror window. Yep. Keep all the thermite charges off. But it just didn't really go their way. Kaid was in the other end of the map, and Miro was whiffing a C4 at the thermite charge instead. Yeah, it's could have gotten them a kill, right?
It is a strategy they sometimes see on maps. For example, if you're playing, even on Bank on the top floor, it works out pretty well if you want to play the mirror there. We've seen it in the past. You can have a similar thing on Clubhouse. It's very, very flexible, but the Clyde in general was far away. The echo as well of Uno for a specific round was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. James, you look at this, was there just too much for the team to handle, or were they trying to divide themselves up between too many tasks?
Look, I'm glad that you brought that up, that second point, because that harks back to something that we saw right at the start of the match, which was the ban phase. It was Valkyrie and Clash, the 2 defenders ban, and we've been harping on all day today about that triple threat of anchors, Mira, Echo, and Maestro, and we actually saw all 3 of them in one of FaZe's early defenses on CEO itself. All 3, Mira, Maestro, Echo, that's all the plant denial, all the information gathering you could possibly want, and they won every single round that they defended on that side. And it's just fascinating to see that when you have this many options, how are you going to utilize them? For FaZe, I think that they had the right calls on which operators they should be bringing in that case, and it worked out well for them. Sometimes, as you mentioned, LeStream tried new things that didn't work, though.
Yeah, we see the map breakdown here, and you can tell the attack from LeStream was just not that efficient.
They were good on tellers. They had won tellers twice, and that was it.
I think it was rough to see them try these new things, and then when they fail, kind of go a bit back. Because the backtracking, then that's kind of admitting defeat a little bit, right? You're bending and you're trying to see if you can save whatever you have now. And they said they were there to mainly play for fun, but it's not really that fun losing.
No.
And there wasn't a lot of smiles on their face in that last round.
Yeah, it was a bit dusty, I have to say, at the end. Especially when it got to overtime, we're like, okay, one more overtime, this is going to get pretty sweet. And then not really the case. We've got some highlight clips in general for you, so let's put them up on the screen. Let's go for that. There you go. So
this one here is just a show of FaZe Clan's communication, their setup, and how both having an IQ and a Twitch wasn't enough for them to figure out there was an Echo drone in the middle of lobby. They walk up, he gets Echo Sapped while he's there to hit the barbed wire. It's all a bait, and Maestro's ready in the elevators to shoot him and instantly backs off. So it's rough to see stuff like an Echo drone when you don't ban Echo and you bring an IQ. IQ could have been on the roof. There could have been plenty of ways to scan that drone. You could have checked it from inside first. Like pushing up Banana that aggressively with Sledge, and then also after losing a Twitch drone. Just before this, I think it was Hicks threw a Twitch drone in and lost that one trying to take out the Maestro. So they kind of tunnel visioned that whole thing.
So they focused on it so much at that point that they couldn't really go anywhere else, and they had already lost the one player that really required in a situation, the grenades.
I think on a round like that, you're completely right about getting tunnel vision onto one thing, because if you looked at that defender lineup, exactly what I was saying before, you've got the Maestro, you've got the Echo, both of those are something where you identify that you need to deal with that. Mira is very much the same case. The other two operators, which was Smoke, so great entry denial in terms of locations, but the last factor was the X factor of the Pulse, who was roaming downstairs. All of those, the four key elements there, the three anchors and the Pulse, you have to deal with. You have to find them with your IQ and such, and you have to deal with them. And when there's that many things that you have to tackle, I think that managing those different things is just too much of a challenge for LeStream.
There's specific things for LeStream. When FaZe were still defending downstairs in the basement, they were very famously running their smoke into blue stairs. They also had the Pulse supporting by server to just give him information. And we saw at least 2 EMPs used by the Thatcher to blind the Pulse, but there was no action taken.
Yeah, we generally saw a little bit of misuse by EMPs in general. There was the last round with 3 ADS's top server stairs, and all EMPs gone before an execute was about to happen. So, I don't know. There has to be a team that figures out how to deal with this Pulse in Vault.
With that said, map number 2, gentlemen. How are we going to go to that? Oregon, any predictions for you?
Oregon, man. I mean, like...
Yeah, that's playground.
I don't know. I think that Oregon is a neck-and-neck one, and I think that, look, there is an opportunity here for LeStream to come back, but FaZe looking much stronger at the moment.
Alex?
FaZe looks strong, but I call LeStream, so I'm going to stick with that.
All right, we'll see. Will it just be a 2-0 for FaZe Clan for Brazil to move on to the semifinals, or will LeStream actually move on through to be the second EU team in the semis? We'll see that in just a bit. Intero Kicks, have fun.
Oregon, fondly referred to by so many people as Hell in a Cell.
Yep. Or where good teams go to die.
Either or works,
yep.
If you'd like to. If the developers are listening and you are wondering how to rename the map, we'll be here all evening.
Yeah. So we're going to jump straight into the ban phase. LeStream, starting on defense, means they're going to ban first. Let's see who they're going to get rid of. They're deliberating on this a little bit here. Clearly unsure. Maybe they're trying their best to have some brief pause after that last defeat on their map pick Bank. Ying is actually the target of LeStream's ban. Okay.
FaZe Clan have been notorious at attacking very quickly here on Oregon. We've seen Finka rush strats, we've seen Blitz rush strats that have come out from them, largely attacking the supply room rather than laundry room side of the downstairs site. And FaZe play a great lockdown, unpredictable style of play here on Oregon. This has the potential to go very bad for LeStream if FaZe can get the ball rolling early, and I think that's part of the hesitation and deliberation that we saw from LeStream on what to ban.
Well, it's still a little bit of thinking going on here. And it's going to be Valkyrie again from LeStream. You know, I honestly cannot disagree with that. but at the same time, it did not result in a win on map number 1. Although, you could say Valkyrie's more relevant on Oregon. I think that's something that's fair. There's a lot more run-out potential, that's for sure.
And Mav does play Valkyrie.
Yes.
A lot, and quite successfully.
Yeah, Mav and, I mean, Latin America, again. Latin America, the story with Valkyrie is that, well, she's the fragger operator. She is, in a way, the Jaeger of LATAM, and that creates a very targetable thing, and just get rid of Valkyrie. You don't have to deal with it. It makes it a lot easier to play against the heavy fragging style that you have on teams like FaZe. And with a team like LeStream, who also lean heavily into that fragger style, you want to be able to outmuscle them. That's kind of the name of the game. And on a map like Oregon, I think that's really going to play a huge part.
There were a couple rounds on Bank where it really did look like the fragging potential of LeStream fell off, which I was actually a bit surprised on.
Me too.
This is a team that is able to punish some of the best European teams consistently. You need to remind people that LeStream was the team that fell Empire and beat them in the second half. Though FaZe also was the team that, took down Immortals. So both of these rosters have a feather in their cap when it comes to beating very good, very aggressive teams. I was just really looking forward to seeing LeStream open up a couple of those rounds, and they weren't able to do so. And it might not have ultimately changed the result of the actual match, but it would have made for maybe some closer rounds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had a pretty close match, all things considered, but in that OT, FaZe just ran away with it. Now here on Oregon, LeStream, again, starting on defense, they're going to go for a heavy roam strategy on a basement hold. You can see, and this is interesting, they have not brought a Mute or a Kaid despite banning Thatcher. That is incredibly counterintuitive on a basement Oregon defense.
Yeah, this is going to be fascinating, actually. And I mean,
it's an opportunity here.
Goodbye, Aces. As Astro's going to get the opening frag, and now this Dokkaebi, who's actually been banned a couple times by LeStream, actually was one of their most banned operators when we did the deep dive into the statistics. Will be available, and you know that Astro likes to play Dokkaebi. You know that he's quite successful. Formerly the SMG-12 in his hands for the most part. Now the C7-5 after the changes to the SMG-12 have made it a little bit harder to control and deal with.
I mean, it's totally fair. Both of them good weapons. If you can aim with the, I think passionately, or well, lovingly called the brick. If you can aim with the brick on that C7E, then you can totally make it work.
The other thing, too, is that there's no Mute on the board. Not only is this going to affect the ability for LeStream to prevent the X-Kairos, Exothermic Charge, what have you, from going off that you can find on FaZe's side of things, but it also means that the logic bombs that are thrown out by Dokkaebi are going to continue to persist. You don't have the ability to just sit on a Mute Jammer and have them go away.
Yeah,
and that's going to get maximum value out of her gadget.
And as I said earlier, that's more confusing for two other reasons. I mean, why not bring a Kaid when you ban a Thatcher on a basement defense? Why not bring a Mute when you ban a Thatcher on a basement defense of Oregon? I mean, that's kind of the whole reason you would ban the Thatcher. I mean, he's definitely a powerful ban no matter how you look at it. It's just a little bit counterintuitive, the lineup we're seeing from LeStream. I understand the roaming, but you could do both. Flash is coming in to clear out the ADSs, Smokes to follow up, and that'll be for probably a fake out, I imagine. They're not actually going for anything, just trying to, I guess, clear the ADSs for the X-Kairos. But those don't get caught, so,
Here's what I'm very surprised on. This is the second opportunity that FaZe has had to dislodge anybody playing behind the mirror window. They'll find another kill, though. They'll take out Hicks. And Uno and Rise are both very, very low, so this is great for favor in terms of FaZe Clan. And the defuse going down now as well, so I'll pause my thoughts for just a second. Yuna in a very default plant spot, but there's nobody there to reach him. The Nitro Cell will fall just short, and you'll allow them to be able to get away. So first round and a successful diffuser goes down for FaZe. That's a pretty good pacing. Astro, what a monstrous opportunity. And it's going to be FaZe all the way, a flawless round. Why don't you start off like that? A good pace and a good tempo for them to set. And FaZe Clan will find themselves on their map taking the first attack, the first round, and only being 6 rounds away from going on to face the winner of Immortals Evil Geniuses tomorrow.
So, the very confusing round. I mean, lots of interesting plays by FaZe, but I find honestly the setup from LeStream was the most confusing thing. Specifically their operator selection. I just cannot fathom why you're not bringing a Kaid or a Mute. And I believe LeStream will be bringing a Mute moving forward, but opportunity was missed on that last round. Even if you're going to deep roam, I mean, you could bring a mute, put one jammer on the drop, and then use your rest of your jammers to assist the roam. Now, on the other hand, FaZe, playing so precisely. Really, truly beautiful. They, again, like you said, perfect round there. They managed to clear out the roamers from LeStream with no time wasted, none at all. And it just seemed par for the course for FaZe Clan. They managed to get free kills, one player inside of that storage room by the kitchen, pantry. Just in general, everything worked for FaZe. They even wasted a little bit of utility, just a tad, and it didn't cost them at all. Across the board, a great attack. And yeah, LeStream's gonna have to change some things up.
FaZe did not sweat that setup at all.
That's a good way to put it.
They did not. They eased through that defense like a hot knife through butter, if I can borrow that saying, that idiom, whatever you want to call it. And because of this, it's forced a change from LeStream, which is good. I think the mute is a smart choice, as you mentioned.
Is that a rush in through construction or just a setup in construction? No, it's a rush.
Oh, they are all almost in, knocking on the door, and it's going to be Rise down there, and Ion will get the very first kill, and FaZe is in.
No.
What's going on with Rise? Oh, he's downed as well. It's another kill for them. Ion will take out Hicks, and LeStream was not expecting this. He'll have to head for the hills as all of LeStream's remaining bodies are above. It'll be Uno and Aces to come back on in, and what damage will they be able to do? None, as Uno is down. Aces will take one body out, so we'll stave off the inevitable, but he's not in a position to do all that much, as it's another diffuser that goes down from FaZe. And LeStream get caught with their pants down. Aces will pick up Uno. This will give them an opportunity, but the mirror windows will now work against the LeStream members. Uno rushing on in, gets taken down. Splat as Cameraman jumps on top of Aces. And it'll now be up to Uno, just sitting and watching the hatch, but it'll be Astro to shut things down. FaZe making very quick work of these laundry and supply room defenses, almost assuredly forcing LeStream now up to the kids' dorm site on that second floor. You're going to need a breather to step away from that site, as FaZe just embarrassed you over those 2 rounds. 1 kill for LeStream, and that's it.
Yeah, Mav went down as he was the last player to come in from construction, and then he went down to Aces. But I mean, yeah, that's just padding. That's nothing. FaZe have been absolutely dominant so far on their map, on Oregon, on this basement attack. And I agree with you. I think at this point, it would be foolhardy to continue to go downstairs if you're LeStream. If you do go downstairs, it would be out of, I assume, nothing other than pride. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It will be a dorms defense, which is a smart choice.
Yeah.
Take a step back.
I agree.
Take a step back at this point.
You know, this is really tricky because if you're, oh, hey, look, there's Kaid. Yeah. This is really tricky because if you're LeStream, you just lost on your map. It was a close one. You're going on to your opponent's pick, and you're like, yeah, okay, maybe we can handle this. But then you come out of the first 2 rounds with 1 kill. Where does that even put you mentally? That's tricky stuff. So LeStream will be holding top floor. They will be going for an aggressive hold on to Master. Like to see this. It does suit LeStream's playstyle. I like that they're not shying away from how they play.
FaZe Clan has remarkably changed up quite a bit of what they're going to bring to the table, and if you look, you've got 2 hard breachers. 2 hard breachers on Oregon, Michael.
It's a bit odd. I mean, we of course, we always like to say that Maverick is a hard breacher, but he's also more like a Thatcher substitute type deal. I mean, he's a hard breacher. And he's just...
It's, to clarify, he's not used in the same way.
He's a hybrid, yeah.
You're not going to bring a Maverick to cut through a wall.
Yeah.
The same way you would. You bring him for hatches. You bring him for pressure on the defense.
You could try to, like, open dirt tunnel and get a surprise kill on your enemy. You know, make a little crouch hole. It's easy. And maybe that's what we'll see here, but it's more likely that he's going to open up, take out the Electro Claw, and then allow the Habana to use our X-Karos.
And that's another great point, is that you can bring a Kaid all you want, but Maverick counters him quite effectively. Yeah. Maybe not a hard counter, but certainly makes the Electro Claw's effectiveness much less. Very similar to what you can do with mute jammers. But I mean, a lot of teams are going to place the Electro Claw above, and a Maverick is not going to be able to do the same amount of work.
Yeah.
Another Electro Claw is smack dab in the middle of that double wall. So I mean, if you figure that out, you can just use the blowtorch to cut through it.
Yeah, there's options available to FaZe, but they're, I think, just opening up the wall so they could flank watch maybe, deny that rotation, deny attic to their opponents for now. Now, it looks to be a tower north windows take, and this is a pretty common strategy. They've got Astro playing by west window, and he'll start pressuring that west window when the rest of his team starts pressuring the north windows. In the meantime, he's going to drone. And this is, I think, the perfect operator to have in this position. Here comes the first logic bomb, allowing his teammates to get into position to hit the site. The second will likely come when FaZe actually is hitting the site.
Now, the thing that will work against that, though, is mute. Keep in mind that with the recent changes to the mute jammers, all you need to do is step into the radius of a mute jammer, and that's going to be it. The phone call will go off. Nav will get the very first kill onto Alfama, and as you force out aces, Astro will collect one. Astro is having an absolute hell of a match so far. Cameraman picking one down too, and it's just all FaZe all day. Looking to phase up as Rise will go across the window and take out Yuna, but I mean, what more can you accomplish? As Ion will be successful in getting that diffuser down. 3 rounds, 3 plants so far. Look at how low that HP is for Rise as well, as he's gonna be just hanging on for dear life. Finished off very easily and deftly handled by the Dokkaebi, as it's now going to be up to Uno to possibly do anything. But there's the final logic bomb, Michael, as you mentioned. In the post plant, an almost hopeless situation.
Yeah. I thought it was going to come during the attack, but it wasn't necessary for FaZe. They've got 3 very lit teammates. I mean, Mav, Cameraman, and Ion, they could all go down, but I don't think it's actually possible for Una to get to the diffuser in time, and he will go down. A beautiful execution there from FaZe. Losing only Yuna. So 2 kills over 3 rounds and 2 different bomb sites.
Surprised that we haven't seen a timeout get taken from LeStream just yet. This would be the time, if I was a coach, that I would call it.
Yeah.
You've lost 3 rounds.
Throw in the towel.
Yeah, you've mustered 1 kill on Laundry Supply Room. The 2 times you defended it, you mustered 1 kill on Kid Storm. So the trend is getting better.
Yeah.
But you can't jump out of a basement window. So there's really not that much better to do. And it actually looks like we might have a timeout be called right now, which if it was called by LeStream, that is a smart choice. And it appears that that's the case.
It would be sensible, certainly. Good call by the coach. Just need a breather, a second to say, okay, it's not working. Let's think about some new stuff. Let's try and come up with something different. Because, yeah, well, it's not. Whatever LeStream is doing, which is not very much, is not working out. FaZe, on the other hand, you know, we're pointing a finger at LeStream here right now. We're talking about how LeStream, yeah, they're just not playing up to their standards. At the same time, FaZe are playing amazingly well. So precise. Everything that FaZe does seems calculated. Everything seems measured. And it's to the point where they also seem to have several different variations to each and everything they're doing, where if they need to adapt mid-take, they will. And more importantly, FaZe isn't being forced to adapt very much. LeStream are not showing much in the way of counterplay. They're not really presenting, I guess, a counter-argument to whatever FaZe is saying. So it's just kind of a one-sided conversation. That's what this match is right now.
They're being overpowered.
Yeah.
Overpowered and overrun.
Yeah. And
FaZe are winning their gunfights. FaZe are winning the utility wars right now, too. I mean, that second round, you didn't even really need that much utility at all. I mean, I know that the mute was a great choice for the second round.
Yeah.
It was a smarter choice. And you mentioned the Kaid finally coming out as well for the Dorm's defense.
It was on the wrong site, but yeah.
I mean, a Kaid and a mute weren't going to stop what unfolded in round number 2 when FaZe just decided to crack open the site within 20 seconds and wrestle complete control away from LeStream. So here's hoping that if you're a fan of LeStream, that something has changed over the final, 30 seconds of that round or timeout onwards, because right now LeStream is not playing like a team that is going to be able to keep pace with FaZe.
No, they're playing like a team with, 2 kills?
They made a lot of mistakes on Bank, an awful lot of mistakes on Bank, but they won a couple rounds because of inhuman effort from both Aces and Uno.
Yeah.
You can't rely on good individual play when you are being out-strategized.
I think, on the note of that strategy, I think things might change here, as there's no way LeStream gets caught off guard again. First round, they defended basement, they got caught off guard on the roam. Aces, for example, died for free when he was playing by Kitchen. No no gunfight, nothing. He was just on drone or on cams, I guess. He got taken down. Second time defending the basement, FaZe went for a rush through construction. Now, both times FaZe relied a little bit on catching their opponents off guard. I seriously doubt that's going to happen. After the timeout, after 3 rounds in a row of absolute devastation, LeStream has to have woken up at this point. There is no way that they let their hopes and dreams slip away this easily.
I mean, look no further than matchup number 2, right? Dark Zero versus Empire. Bank was the first match, and what ends up happening is it's extraordinarily close on a map that both of the teams are very good on. Empire just inches out Dark Zero in the 15th and final round to take the victory, but that appeared to break the back of Dark Zero because Oregon was fairly quick. Yeah. Oregon was very, very quick, and it's one of Empire's best maps. It's unsurprising to see them do as well as they did. There's possibility that the theory can be applied here as well with how close Bank was. That was LeStream's opportunity to keep this close. They say we win Bank, we might lose Oregon, but then we go to Villa, and we are a pretty good Villa team. I would give the edge to LeStream on Villa over FaZe, and there's a possibility that for LeStream, they anticipated losing Oregon and pushing it to the 3rd map, and they are in trouble if that's the case, but we're not going to really know until the end of this matchup, and might never know, depending on if LeStream even bothers to talk about it.
Well, based on how hard LeStream fought for that map, number 1, I think that is sensible. It was one of the most hotly contested maps we've seen so far. I mean, we've had a pretty amazing day of hotly contested maps.
Really great games today.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So maybe that's the case. It wouldn't be too surprising. We'll find out, I suppose. But here and now, 40 seconds left. And FaZe just now starting to go for the push. They've been a lot more deliberate with this construction take, and here we go. LeStream starting to put kills on the board. And it's going to be a constant back and forth, as you would expect. A rush through the smoke is actually going to work against Alfalma. That is a huge mistake. Hicks, though, has retaken Meeting Hall, and Aces is playing the hallway downstairs. This is massive. Ion comes from above inside of Attic, and he's able to shut down that roamer, but it's still an advantage to LeStream. 20 seconds left, and HP advantage in the extreme. Unit on low HP, and Ion has to do a lot of work here if FaZe want to make it happen. He's seen the smoke, but cannot land enough shots to get the down, or any shots at all, as the 2 final members from LeStream will lock out that round and get the very first victory for this European/French squad.
And it still got real close. It still came down to the wire. A lot of this really came down to FaZe's inability to do any roam clearing. You saw the Jaeger playing upstairs on 2nd floor with 45 seconds left on the clock. Absolutely unbelievable that FaZe had not been able to find out exactly where they were and be able to take that control away. And even if they didn't have full map control, you would at least have somebody dedicated to flank watch to be able to stop them.
It's like FaZe took the caution and dialed it from 1 to 99, and it worked heavily against them. And it also, I mean, it didn't... The cautious mentality wasn't working out in things like, for example, flank holds. Yeah, Cameraman managed to get one here, but he was refragged by Hicks, as you can see. It's a really big kill, and then Hicks also managed to apply pressure from above, allowing the rest of LeStream to get aggressive downstairs before being shut down by Ion, as you just saw. Aces was a really big part of that round. This position he was standing on just there at the end of the hallway, if nobody on the attack is shutting you down from laundry stairs or laundry drop down, then that position as a defender is the most important position to deny a push into or in from construction. The reason being is it cuts off the main hallway. By cutting off the main hallway, where can you push as an attacker? You can either vault through usually the destroyed wall, or you can come through the box door. Both of those positions easily held by whatever defender is holding in, well, in sight.
So we'll go up to Kids Dorms now for the 5th round. If this proves to be successful for LeStream, they will end their defensive hold on Oregon with either Kitchen or Tower. Yeah. Not an enviable place to end your defensive rounds, but one that can work out. We've seen Tower actually work in favor of the defenders quite a bit, especially as of late, though the changes to Capitao make it a lot harder to hold Tower because of the way that his asphyxiating bolt spread. As for what's going to happen on Dorms, well, it was almost completely a lockout for FaZe last time. A lot of it hinged upon an early entry and then using those asphyxiating bolts to push one member of LeStream out into the open while Astro held down that angle. There was a Kaid on the board as well for LeStream, and once again, the lack of a mute means that you won't see the jammers playing any role whatsoever to stop the logic bombs from Astro. Very close to an early kill there for Mav as he was surveying the 2 windows inside of kids' dorms, but wasn't able to actually get any success as Hicks was flitting back and forth.
Mav's been missing some potentially opportune shots recently, but he's been getting the ones that count, so that's really important. LeStream just waiting. FaZe Clan, again, taking a long time to set up their strategy here. Very patient on their part, but they don't really have the luxury of patience. They're the attacking team, so they need to be careful not to waste too much time. Lots of C4s set up from below. 2, one in the hands of Rise, one in the hands of Alfalma to hold from the bottom floor. Or, well, I guess not the bottom, the middle floor underneath the site. And should be a pretty easy setup, given how little time there is left. Those C4s alone could probably deny the plant when the push actually comes from FaZe.
Yeah, LeStream is sitting very pretty for the time being. The red dot site here, or the underbarrel laser, will give away the position of the smoke playing, and get spotted for just a second. He'll lose some of his HP as there's Mav to do his damnedest. He'll have to peek on out, and Ion will be there. Nobody from FaZe sustaining any real damage. Now Alfama's under fire too. He's in a tough contest against Astra. He'll get downed and then finished off. The DMR proves to be too much. Rise's C4 will connect with Ion, but it might be a little bit too early as there's still 40 seconds left. Plenty of time for FaZe to recover that diffuser. Aces will look across the big window, but FaZe getting 2 very big kills will put 1 member of LeStream left, as Uno will find himself against FaZe Clan minus Ion. He's downstairs, unaware of the fact that yet again another successful diffuser plant. That's 4 for FaZe Clan in these 5 rounds, and Uno will lose almost all of his life. He gambles it on the doorway inside a mess hall, turns around, and finds himself being tracked down by Yuna, and FaZe will once again put up another round, this time 4-1, with LeStream giving an opportunity to go back to dorms on their very final defensive round.
All right, so LeStream, like you said, and I agreed, sitting pretty for the majority of that round. Came down to a 40-second-ish attack mark there for FaZe, but it worked out anyway. And why? Just, again, precision from FaZe. I mean, okay, they didn't get any picks early on, but those, especially on the note of Mav, I would like to point out what Mav did there. He placed his Capital bolts perfectly. The fire bolts to, push the players inside of dorms out of their anchor spots, and then the smokes to cover those holes from below. There were 2 defenders, one each holding each window from below, and those smokes denied that hold. You can only pre-fire so much. Once you run out of ammunition, then Mav and his teammate on the North Rappel easily can get in sight and go for that plant, and that's exactly what happened. One of the C4s downstairs got picked off and denied outright before it was able to detonate, and Rise's C4 did land, so the plan partially worked out for LeStream, but partially is not enough to get a win, especially not considering how we've been seeing FaZe play on Oregon. FaZe is not going to be tripped up by a C4 taking down one of their players. You need to have a little bit more than that if you are LeStream. They're going to be going back to the top floor defense, so they have an opportunity to show us something more. But from what we've been seeing so far, gotta be honest, at this moment, FaZe are running away with this match. Something drastic needs to change. Maybe it'll be the half swap, but I don't know, it's hard to rely on that, especially on Oregon.
I mean, the fact that there's been so much flexibility in what LeStream is playing as well really shows that they're trying to throw everything at the wall to see what can stick. And right now, nothing is sticking at all. I mean, you saw LeStream's heavy investment down below, and it seemed to be working quite well, but it didn't go that far. And the other thing, too, is that this downstairs very heavy hold is something that FaZe has encountered a number of times in BR6 and in Pro League. I remember very fondly that Liquid FaZe matchup on Oregon. It was either a season or 2 ago, where it seemed like both teams were just living on that first floor no matter what the site was. So it's not hard, if FaZe has a lot of experience with it, to be able to beat what LeStream is going to throw at them. And right now, whether it be that defense in general or whether it be any defense, period, it's FaZe being able to get the very first hit. Almost doing so in this round in particular, as you see once again, Mav is going to lose out on an opportunity to find somebody from LeStream. And LeStream is being very aggressive on these double dorms windows. That could be a major mistake, given the way that FaZe has been playing.
Now shots landed there from Astro, but he will take a little bit of damage. You can see him just pre-firing, looking for an opportunity here. He actually, I believe, just narrowly missed one. Hicks playing by that dresser in the middle of a dangerous position. Phone call will come out to potentially catch Hicks in that play, but he's going to rotate into dorms. Definitely the right call in that situation. you see LeStream, again, just, yeah, all things considered, sitting pretty. They look very comfortable. We saw this last round, and they were completely picked apart. So, I don't know. It's hard to rely on this. An easy pick there for Ion as Uno just, well, peeks into his opponent and gives away a kill. The players downstairs are going to be now heavily pressured to hold this site.
And LeStream just does not have any grasp whatsoever over on the kids' dorm side of things. Astro is expecting a push through small towers. A logic bomb will ring off and give away the position of a couple members of LeStream. Still, FaZe will sit and wait to see if anybody's going to go on over there. A drone from Cameraman will determine that, hey, there's nobody playing in that particular position. A toxic canister will meet a smoke grenade, so that's a very good answer back from LeStream to deny easy entry on in through these windows. It's going to flummox Mav for the time being, as it now look to be an early repel on in. Alfama guns down Ion, and that's diffuser dropped 2. So the Mira will have very good possession on the window. Mav swings on in, but gets downed as well. This is a great answer back from LeStream, and every single push on the main floor is being shut down as the kill feed will just turn totally blue, and LeStream will win the round, finishing off their defensive hold in spectacular fashion. They've got a lot of ground to make up when they move to attack, but they at least emerge with 2 rounds and a narrower gap than it could have been just a minute before.
Yeah, so winning that last round on defense for LeStream means that coming back in this map is not only possible, but now, I mean, you wouldn't count them out. It's definitely something that can be done, and if anyone's going to do it, it'll be LeStream. So, great job there. It mostly came down to the hold downstairs and how that hold downstairs worked in tandem with the gas canisters from the smoke upstairs. Love that coordination from LeStream, and they get to go into attack now. I do believe LeStream will be better off on attack. However, I mean, I wasn't expecting FaZe to be so dominant on attack themselves, so anything's, I guess, possible. We'll just have to wait and see. That last round, though, does set a good tone for LeStream, if nothing else. If absolutely nothing else, it tells LeStream that, hey, we can win this. This is not completely impossible. We just have to focus up. FaZe are going to go to the top floor for their first defense. And we brought a pretty standard lineup, but with one small, not so standard thing, and that's the Frost.
I mean, you look at LeStream and you can characterize this team with tons of potential, but disappointment when it comes to showing up on a big stage.
Yeah.
DreamHack Winter, they got eliminated by Space Station a lot earlier on than I think people suspected. Mind you, they didn't have a lot of time to practice, so it is understandable that it wasn't the best experience for them. After that, you look at Paris, when they were still Millennium. Obviously, only 2 members of this team are still on, but if you go back to that lineage, they got knocked out in quarters. Since then, there was the 6 Invitational. They got knocked out in groups. They flamed out, which is the way that I would describe it. And then they didn't make it to Rio either. This is not the greatest. And, well, they've got a hot start here in this round. Their very first on attack as Yuna will fall to Uno. He's got control of T3, and there's a Frostman up there, so he's going to be very careful and walk just a little bit gingerly. Aces will also pick off Cameraman, so FaZe playing far too cute and far too loose for the time being. You speculated that LeStream would do better on, oh no!
It worked, guys.
He got him.
It's not a double, it's just...
He needs to pick him back up.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll lose quite a bit of HP in the process, and that's a big buff now with the way that resetting works. Aces doesn't get 50 HP back, he only gets 20.
So that's a heavy-hitting Frostmat.
Yes.
He's going to die to a single bullet or just a few whiffs of that smoke from or the gas, I guess, from the smoke. Confusing, I know. But that might not matter, because it's still 5 versus 3, and LeStream have a ton of time. They've cleared out tower pretty efficiently. They can now go for their north windows attack, and they're being very cautious as they know they have plenty of time. They don't need to rush themselves. Pre-fires abound, waiting for somebody to peek into them, waiting for that aggression that is known to come from FaZe from time to time. But here you go, lifelines, flashes coming in on the north windows to try and deny some audio cues. And the nades as well to follow up. Just tons of utility being dumped into dorms. Marks coming as well. Lots of information here from LeStream. But FaZe are playing very passively as they know this utility is going to come.
And you have to be very careful if you're LeStream. We say it time and time again. This site, retaking it, is one of the toughest in the entire game. The team that has full control in either a plant or a post-plant scenario usually is able to hang on for the win. Rise will have to cover a couple different angles as he's repelled, now upside down, now back up, now upside down, as it's a double up from FaZe. Actually 3 kills, oh my, what a gamble from Astro as he runs outside, and he'll catch LeStream looking. Rise and Alfama will now need to somehow right the ship as the diffuser will be picked up from Alfama as he'll try to get back in, but Rise is below, and this could be a disaster for LeStream. 15 seconds left, not a lot of opportunity for them to work with. It's gonna go through Mess Hall, and they'll just try to barrel up White Stairs. With Astro got his back turned to it, they'll hit the barbed wire and the goo mines, and FaZe is all completely aware with Ion waiting. Rise falls to Mav. Where's the next? Ion's not even looking at his screen, and FaZe wins the round with Ion not even having his hand on his mouse or his keyboard. An utter show of confidence, I would say, from FaZe, and they will take it.
It actually looks like
he might have disconnected.
It looks like he
looks like he did.
Yeah, okay, technical issues. It's really good that FaZe won that round because yeah, that could have been bad. Great job. Ooh. Oh wow. Okay.
Here we are.
But then
Here we are thinking, man, this guy's got so much confidence.
He's
so much bravado. He's just like, you know what? Just rush in. I don't care. We got a second left. I'm gonna do this. And then it turns out actually his game crashed.
Yeah. Whoops.
Whoopsies.
That's unfortunate. But hey, again.
I believe we call that, Michael, in the business, F.
Yeah, we could say that. I
think that is the official terminology.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I will.
Oh, so Rise didn't die to the. He died to a frost mat. By the way, for the record, that's 2 of 3 frost mats that were successfully detonated in that round. So you could say that the very odd pick of frost did work out very well for FaZe. But yes, that is an F. But luckily, again, FaZe did win the round, so it's not terrible.
So we're going to get a technical pause here as things try to get sorted out with Ion's machinery.
Yep. Just going to try and figure that out as quickly as possible. And he's back, I think.
It looks like he's back.
Yeah.
For the time being.
Yeah. I think it was actually... Was it Ion who was standing still, or was it...
It was Ion who was standing still.
It was Ion, okay.
Yeah, and you could see from his camera, he was looking over, and he's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Am I still in it, guys? I can't tell.
Okay, good.
He's leaning around and looking at all of his...
I thought Ion was the one playing safe by the bomb. But that must have been Astro.
No, that was Mav.
Was it Mav?
Yeah, Mav was on the Legion, right?
No, because Mav got picked off, remember? Mav got picked off in the site take. I think it was Astro who was... Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, you know what? We'll find out later when people tell us.
People will correct us.
Yeah.
They love to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it looked like LeStream had a pretty solid amount of control there. They got those picks early on. You talked about it, though. That's one of those sites that you could defend pretty easily with a lower number of players as compared to others. And, well, yeah, it worked out for FaZe. And because it worked out for FaZe, now they find themselves in such a spectacular lead. 5-2. They're going to go back down to they're going to go to the basement for the first time. And, yeah, I don't know. It's looking harder and harder for LeStream to bring this back, as it just doesn't seem like they have the same chops on Oregon as FaZe right now. It's really that simple. I think that FaZe are more practiced on this map.
Yeah. There doesn't seem to be a lot of comfort for LeStream.
Yeah.
And while some of the setups from LeStream have been good, FaZe have been able to counter them very effectively. And it's really tough to pinpoint exactly where it is going wrong for LeStream. On Bank, I think it was a lot more straightforward because Bank tends to play out in a lot more predictable fashion than Oregon does.
Yeah.
We refer to Oregon as Hell in a Cell because you don't have any idea what's going to happen.
It's very random.
Chaos reigns supreme. There isn't a lot of opportunity to rotate for teams. Sometimes it really comes down to the exact same strategies over and over again, and it's just somebody misses one shot, and one bullet that doesn't hit its target can be the complete difference maker of a round.
Yeah, I think the rush from FaZe on FaZe's attacking side, that's, I believe, the second round on this map. If you want a great example of what Oregon kind of boils down to sometimes, go watch that round. You'll notice that LeStream just got unlucky a lot.
Yeah.
They did get unlucky a whole heck of a lot. People in positions where they could have denied the rush from FaZe, but they were just an inch off on the angle, or maybe they just ran out of ammo at the wrong moment. There was a moment where somebody, was one of the SAS operators, I don't remember which one, had his shotgun out, his M59A1, and he just didn't have ammo. He was like, I gotta shoot this guy, but I can't.
You say the name of that shotgun again?
The
Without looking at the screen?
The M59
looking at the screen for the record.
0A1. Hey, you know what? They're there.
Don't tattletale.
It's the M5. People call it the M5, or the SAS shotgun. And he's gonna put it to work here on the staircase. Now takes down Rise. Beautiful double pump there. And he's looking for more. He sees the Ash. Flash is coming out from Uno, but Uno just goes for the peek and loses it thanks to the ADS. Beautiful double piece there from Ion, and this might be match point just based on that smoke play.
Oh, and there you have it, Michael. Uno will pop on up. Hicks gets a kill immediately. Refragged from Astro. Actually, they trade perfectly. They trade, and poor Aces in a 1v4 with a minute left to go inside of Meeting Hall. Catch one. Looking, Una decides to get very aggressive, and he'll cut him down to size. He also takes down Mav. Oh! Aces was able to do this before, but it was a different set of circumstances. It was a different batch of operators, and he was the unfortunate circumstance to Flash himself. A bit of misfortune, as now he heads on down. Nobody inside of this small closet looking to see the mirror, but he won't be able to do much else. The clock strikes midnight on Ace's comeback, and Cameraman will propel his team to match point. And FaZe Clan, right now on Oregon, they look absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, that's match point, series point. We saw that really hotly contested first map there from FaZe on Bank, and well, they managed to take it in the end. Very close, though. And here, now, a complete runaway for FaZe. 6-2 is the situation we find ourselves in. 6-2 against LeStream. I mean, you said to yourself, Parker, LeStream's got a history when it comes to LAN events. When it comes to these high-pressure situations, they tend to struggle. They've been to a number of other LANs. They've gone to some minors. As LeStream, they've been to 4 LANs. They've won 2 minors, 2 kind of local minors, and that's cool. But at the Invitational, they just really didn't have a good time. And here, now, at these season finals, they're really not having a good time in this map in particular. Not, I think, living up to the expectations that people put onto the name of LeStream. At least not right now.
There's going to be a lot of people speculating in the coming days about LeStream and what they do, because you have to be able to shake off whatever jitters are affecting you on LAN. This was a team that looked dominant in so many games online, but struggled when they actually got to LAN, which is actually funny because it's the inverse of the way that FaZe Clan used to be. This was, or the same as FaZe Clan used to be.
Yes.
Remember when FaZe Clan went back to Font Energy, they would dominate online and then struggle when they actually got to a LAN setting, which was the opposite of the way that Liquid used to play.
Yeah.
If Liquid made it to LAN, they would typically excel. Both of these teams have a history of not showing up on LAN. FaZe has been working through it. They've been a bit inconsistent. They went out in groups in both Paris as well as the 6 Invitational, but they finished second in their home country of Rio for the Season 8 finals, and they are 1 round away from meeting either Immortals or Evil Geniuses tomorrow in the second semifinal.
I did talk about it in the first map, and I'll say it again. I do think that this is the best FaZe we've ever seen, hands down. We saw from FaZe in the regular season, their absolute tear through the second half. Just a monstrous run. And now here in the finals, they're actually holding up to that. A lot of people didn't expect it. A lot of people said, you know what? Yeah, FaZe, they played great online. Even I said this. They played great online, they played great in the regular season, but can they turn that into LAN results? Astro with a run out, he will get shut down, but I mean, the psychological impact of that aggression from FaZe has got to be huge. Ultimately, though, it is, I think, a win for LeStream, because that's a Maestro that you just lost in exchange for Zofia. I would take the Zofia loss.
If only they'd been able to get the Capitao. But down goes Mav, and it looks like LeStream might have a little bit of luck here, given the fact that it is a tower defense. And Rise will take out Ion too, and this will be a very quick affair, it appears. Still, you've got Yuna and Cameraman, but Yuna jumps on out, and LeStream will make quick work of this one. It's 45 seconds in, and this round is basically over. Oh! But Cameraman trying to keep his team in it. C4 will connect. 2 kills for Cameraman as Alfama goes to look for the diffuser. This could be the clutch of the century to propel a Brazilian team into the semifinals. This is going to be exceedingly difficult for Cameraman, and his position will be given away as well. Asphyxiating bolts will literally choke off Cameraman's ability to get back into the site. He's going to wise up, but he knows that if he had that Nitro Cell, he possibly could have been able to get the kill, but there'll only be no clutch at all. Alfama will be the one to end that round for his team, and FaZe will still live on, as will LeStream. This gap is not as far apart as it seems. It's a 6-4 game. Now, mind you, that was a site that should have gone in favor of LeStream because it was tower. A lot of teams fare the best there. You now have to grapple with a Dorms defense from FaZe.
I was about to say, I mean, all that really meant, what we just saw, was that there wasn't a complete cycle made. Oof. Aces has just been hitting his one-taps today. Absolutely beautiful. But yeah, it just means there's no complete cycle. You don't get 3 in a row. Okay, so be it. But I don't know. I just don't see that turning into a comeback from LeStream at this point. Though LeStream did look a whole lot more enthusiastic in that round than they had in some of these, well, pretty much all of the rounds prior. So maybe, just maybe, it'll be enough. They'll get some momentum, and things will start working LeStream's way. They're going to have to attack onto a FaZe defense of the top floor now, as that is a site that has just opened up. It was somewhere where FaZe was very successful. They're going to try it one more time. LeStream did get some picks when they were attacking this site. It actually looked like LeStream was going to be able to take it the last time we were here, but FaZe brought it back in, I think, a 3 versus 5, 3 versus 4 situation. It was pretty close, and they ultimately won despite a disconnect right at the end. It was very close. Could you imagine, though?
I honestly thought he just was so confident.
Yeah. He was like, I don't have to shoot you. It's not required.
It's like when you see like 2 boxers fighting and the one boxer puts his hands behind his back.
Well, that's just...
And you just taunt them.
You know, every time I see that, every time I see that happen, oh, Ion's gonna take down Hicks. So here we go, good start for FaZe, but it's answered back. Alfama with aggression in the Armory hallway. I love this aggression from LeStream as well, just outright taking Armory Hall and Master. Beautiful job.
And they're eating up map control very, very fast.
Yes.
And you hear one logic bomb go off, there's no mute in play, so you're gonna need to be immobile for that time to turn off the ringing phone. You can hear some of them still going, but they do shut off on their own now. Keep that in mind too. It was very quick control that was put in hand of LeStream, and if they can set the tempo and knock FaZe back, well...
I think we need to see more of this LeStream. Aces is going to take down Astro downstairs, and that's it. We need to see more of this. Just take fights. Just take fights, because that's what LeStream does so well.
I also just want to say, I said it was a 6-4 scoreline, and that's because I can't do math.
It's okay, don't worry about it.
I apologize.
I sometimes can't do math either. It's difficult. But this round, deceptively fast. We've still got more than half, 10 seconds over, in fact. LeStream have the man advantage, but they've got an HP disadvantage despite having more guns in play. So FaZe are not out of this yet. And again, we're talking about top floor Oregon defense. So this is defensible, that's for sure.
So they're just going to wait and bide time for the time being. Cameraman will exchange words with Aces, and it will be Cameraman who was proving to be successful in that conversation. He's going to lose some HP, but that's really all that matters in that altercation. Alfama also there holding the diffuser. He's low on HP. That's something to keep in mind as well. Yuna's position inside of Attic has not been shaken, at least not for the time being. He's just going to wait, but he's going to need to engage at closer range because you know the way that that Scorpion functions at anything from medium to large range.
There's so much time here for LeStream. They don't need to rush themselves, and that's exactly what's happening. They're slowing down. They're considering their options, and they're allowing Yuna to come up from behind and take down Uno. Beautiful piece of work there from Yuna, and he's going for a second. He'll rotate back into sight, and he'll take down one more. Excellent job on match point.
It's all up to Rise now with the team on his shoulders and elimination staring him in the face. This could be the end of our first European team to be eliminated. Rise is going to come on in, and he's going to get cut down by Mav. FaZe make quick work of the second map. I believe they say FaZe up. That's exactly what Yuna is going to do. We'll have a Latin America team in the second round. Joining an APAC team and a European team, and the winner of Immortals and Evil Geniuses will be on the docket for FaZe up tomorrow.
Beautiful job there from FaZe. They really ran roughside over their opponent on Oregon. I mean, it wasn't even close. That was a 7-3 on Oregon. One-sided as they come, despite them going up against a team that I think a lot of people had winning this whole tournament, LeStream.
Yep. It's another rough and short tournament for LeStream, a team that always tends to be touted as having a ton of potential. And there's something that they cannot be able to put together on LAN, and it's something that they will have to work through. It's something that FaZe had issues with, and they seem to have at least somewhat shaken that off for the time being. Like we said, their work is cut out for them. They've got either EG or Immortals. You saw how close their matches with Immortals were in Latin America. A rematch with their fellow countrymen would be particularly exciting, knowing how close those two teams are. And EG is no slouch either, as those teams have met before. And, well, FaZe wasn't the team that was the lucky one in that receiving end, so.
Yeah, so I think a really well-earned victory there for FaZe, one that you look at those Oregon results and you can't question it. The LeStream match, though, I mean, on Bank, it looked so good. I mean, I really just wish that we had 3 maps. I wish we could have gotten to see what Villa would have been like, because Oregon, I don't think, is a good representation of the matchup that we had here with these two teams. It was just too one-sided.
Yeah, it did not look like LeStream came to play on Oregon as much as they did, but I mean, you still have to give them credit for the way that they were able to adapt, but it just didn't seem like they were fully in their comfort zone. Bank was much better of a map for LeStream. That's why it was their map. We don't get to see Villa, but we do get to see Matt Andrews on the stage with Cameraman to talk us through exactly what happened and give us his thoughts on the match.
Kicks and Intero, thank you very much indeed. I have another semi-finalist. The LATAM #1 seed, they are FaZe Clan. Congrats. Cameraman and the guys will be playing again tomorrow. So Bank, a little bit of a surprise that you went to that on the first map.
Yes, LeStream is a team that they go for a map that is the favorite of the opponent, so we kind of expect them to pick Bank, even though we're good in Bank. And yeah, we were prepared for it, and everything ended well.
Yep. We know they're creative. We know their mirror placements can be showing us some new things sometimes. Did any of that catch you out? How did you deal with it?
They were playing the mirror and playing downstairs and defending the mirror, so it was a very good play. And they won most of the, I think, all of the CEO defenses. So yeah, we need to improve on that. But besides that, we played very well, even on defense. So I'm very proud of the team.
You say you played well. I think we'd all agree with you. Kix in particular said he thinks that's the best he's ever seen of FaZe. How do you feel? Are you up? Is that where you would rank that match?
I think on a second invitational, we were better, but we're still improving a lot. Every scrim, every tournament that we lose, unfortunately, but yeah, we kind of improve because of the losses, and this is good for us. I hope to get further in this tournament, so yeah.
The Brazilian teams, you're always very relaxed. It's kind of a cultural thing, right? Everybody's here to have fun, but you take the game very seriously. What I mentioned to you earlier on, FaZe looked particularly happy and relaxed before anything had happened today. You were mucking around earlier on one of our cameras over there. There's a brilliant picture of Cameraman being a cameraman on our Twitter, so look for that. You all seem to be in a really good place. Last Pro League finals, made it all the way to the final and lost it there because of those map issues. So you're in a really good spot now.
Yeah, I talked to the boys. We didn't even were supposed to be here because the first split was like a mess, and we just said, okay, so let's enjoy and hope everything ends well, and that happened. So I'm really happy about this.
Yeah, that's what you said in your video before the game. That you thought from your season you wouldn't even make it to final. So pressure is off.
Yes, at all.
And it's working. FaZe go to the semi-finals. Congratulations again, Cameraman. And we'll find out who they're going to face in our next quarterfinal, which is coming up. But let's go back to the desk, talk more about that game.